President's speech with its leader Jordan Hill-Lewis backing Ramaphosa's message that South Africa's economic crisis stems from failure to grow jobs, not foreign nationals. Hill-Lewis says immigration laws must be enforced by the state, not vigilantes or politicians chasing votes. The DA, which looks after the Home Affairs portfolio, says it will support every lawful effort in the GNU to restore order, secure the borders and fix the broken systems that have allowed illegal migration to become a source of fear and frustration. But Action SA is unimpressed with party president Herman Mashaba dismissing the address as weak and reactionary. He's accused Ramaphosa of recycling failed ANC talking points. He says only mass deportations and strong enforcement will solve the immigration crisis. Meanwhile, government insists the June 30 deadline set by anti-illegal migration groups will not be marked by violence, with law enforcement on standby. Or see Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry resumes today with a new witness. The commission last week focused on stolen consignment of drugs at the Hawks offices in Port Shepstone. In June 2021, police intercepted a shipping container carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine with an estimated street value of about 200 million rand. In November of the same year, the drugs were stolen from a Hawks storage facility. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Several officers have already appeared before the Madlanga Commission and admitted to bungling the June 2021 drug bust. However, the Commission's focus has been on whether there was any criminal intent in their actions. The drugs were seized from a depot in Isipingo in Durban. However, they were stored more than 100 kilometers away at the Hawks' offices in Port Shepstone. There's been allegations that there was a concerted effort by some police officers to have the drugs taken to the Hawks' Port Shepstone offices as they were not secure and it would be easy to have them stolen. At the heart of this alleged plot is KZN Hawks boss Lisetla Sinona, who is expected to testify this week. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
Factional battles continue to plague the whites-only enclave of Clairefontaine, with some residents accusing the leadership of running the settlements like a criminal enterprise. Located in the farm belt of eastern Pretoria, Clairefontaine is one of 17 illegal settlements identified by the Tshwane municipality. EWN recently attended a heated meeting where about 100 community members met with the municipality's political leadership. Tabiso Koba reports.
Clairefontaine was established in 1992 with the sole purpose of building a cultural settlement for white Afrikaners. However, over the past couple of years, the idealistic vision of a self-sustainable Afrikaner paradise has diminished. The settlement manages its own water and sewage system. However, some residents have complained of paying high taxes and levies in return for poor service delivery. Longtime resident Hank Cilia has been leading the fights from the inside, taking Clairefontaine to court and inspiring a tax revolt.
Why I said that Clairefontaine is a criminal enterprise because the court said it's a criminal enterprise. And Clairefontaine is run by a cartel. We are not allowed to speak on Clairefontaine. It's like North Korea.
During the community meeting, some residents say they want Clairefontaine to be formalized as a township so they can pay their municipal bills directly to the city of Tshwane. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And Iranian media says Israel has struck a petrochemical company in southwestern Iran as the warring countries trade fire hours after U.S. President Donald Trump called for restraint. Local media posted on Telegram and quoted a local law enforcement official saying that Israeli projectiles struck Quran Petrochemical Company in Mashhad. The state news agency IRNA reported that the Special Petrochemical Economic Zone, which hosts the company, had evacuated its daytime employees. The company produces more than 200,000 tons of petrochemical products annually, according to figures published on its website. Israel and Iran traded fire hours after U.S. President Donald Trump called on Israel to refrain from retaliating against Iran's missiles. Gold is trading at $4,297.40 an ounce. The rand is at 16.64 to the dollar, 22.17 to the pound, 19.17 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.55 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Makwan North. This is between Marlborough Drive and the Baku interchange. A major accident seen along that route. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North between Malibongwe Drive and the Baku interchange. Unfortunately, if you're heading towards the Baku as well, leaving the Alexandra area do expect delays on the N3 North. This is between Linksfield Road and the Baku interchange.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 22 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: there's been mixed reaction to President Cyril Ramaphosa's address on migration.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, happy Monday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. I trust you're well this morning and I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Our show starts with the 702 open line. This hour, this is where you can call us on 011-883-0702 or send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702 to weigh in on any of the issues we're raising this morning, which includes that address by President Cyril Ramaphosa last night on immigration. He was responding to these rising anti-illegal foreigner protests, and he committed that government would improve its migration strategies and clamp down on those illegally entering the country. He has also put forward a number of government interventions to tackle illegal migration, which includes a phased relocation of refugee reception centers to border posts, setting up dedicated courts to fast-track the deportation of undocumented migrants, discontinuing the Green ID book, and increasing penalties, including imprisonment for employers who violate immigration laws. And I wonder if you think these measures that the president announced go far enough. He warned last night that illegal migration, if unchecked, poses a risk to South Africans' security, stability, and economic progress. In fact, he said undocumented migration places a strain on healthcare, housing, and municipal services in poor areas, and also distorts the labor market. Here's what else the president had to say last night.
The challenge we have is that some people have migrated to our country irregularly. The challenge we have is that some people have migrated to our country irregularly and are here illegally. South Africa has a right to implement policies and measures that prevent irregular migration. Our country is committed to protect, uphold, and advance the human rights of all people in our country, whether they are citizens or foreign nationals. We are committed to honor our international obligations that deal with matters of migration. The responsibility for enforcing immigration laws rests with the state and the state alone. There have been weaknesses in the way migration has been managed in our country. There have been weaknesses in rigorous and focused enforcement. We admit that. And there have been weaknesses of corruption. There have been gaps in our systems that have undermined public confidence. South Africans are entitled to expect better, as well as our economic progress. We know that illegal migration affects service delivery and places additional burdens on essential services such as healthcare and education. Illegal migration routes increasingly overlap with organized crime. Criminal syndicates involved in trafficking, extortion, illegal mining, drugs, and money laundering often use undocumented migration for recruitment and concealment of goods. We must be concerned that anti-foreigner sentiment is at times accompanied by tribal and ethnic slurs, insults, and attacks aimed at other South Africans. This is not acceptable.
So this is what the president said last night. Look, my understanding is that most of what the president spoke about is already on government's plans. These are things that government has been talking about. The problem has always been implementation and moving fast to actually implement those plans. And I honestly don't get a sense that our government has taken seriously the issue of illegal immigration. Understanding, of course, the consequences that this brings up for our country and its stability. I don't think we've moved fast enough as a country. And it's almost like with everything else, something extreme has to happen for our government to come out and urgently intervene and address concerns being raised. It happened with GBV, with other forms of crime, but it doesn't help also complaining. So what matters now is the interventions are here. And the question is, how far will they go in helping resolve this crisis of illegal immigration? Let me know your thoughts on 011-883-0702. I do think that the problem for the Border Management Authority has always been funding. So I wait to hear the finances that will be put behind these interventions, because ultimately it's going to take some investment for us to see some changes. And at the moment, this is still at a political level. And until government is serious enough to put their money where their mouths are, we are still going to be stuck with the same issue. Because for you to see changes, for you to see the fencing, was it the fencing that the Border Management Authority wanted to do at one of our borders? And that still hasn't taken off. Why? Because no money has been put behind that. So we can celebrate all we want, the interventions, but if there's no money that's going to accompany that, then they just become announcements and interventions, and I don't know where they're going to get us. The president also in that clip speaks about the issue around locals being affected by anti-illegal foreigner protests. And I would like to know what your experience is. I mean, he talks about tribal issues that seem to also begin to emerge during these protests. What is your experience on the ground? Are you picking up that this is raising some tribal tensions as well? What are you seeing on the ground? Have you been stopped because you look or don't speak a language that the Machas expect you to speak? And for those who are here legally, how are you managing in these tensions? Like, do you go around with your papers? Because you just never know when you're going to be stopped. And when they stop you and they ask you to produce your papers, and you do, some of them will assume that you got those through corruption. So what do you then do? How have you been managing these tensions as someone who is here legally? How concerned are you? How affected have you been? Share your experiences with us, please, on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. What did you make of the Monaco Grand Prix? Kimi Antonelli, my goodness, this chap is doing so well this season, hey? He won his 5th consecutive Grand Prix. I mean, he's on a winning streak. Lewis Hamilton nearly won his first Grand Prix this season. He came second in Monaco yesterday, and yeah, I don't know, maybe it's the effect of Kim Kardashian. I'm joking. I mean, he's still the greatest of them all. But I'm raising the Kim Kardashian issue because I raised it as a concern when it was revealed that they're dating. And I was like, oh my goodness, we don't need Lewis to be distracted. You know, he's running out of time. And I was like, pause, just because Kim Kardashian is so busy, like They go to the Met Gala, they go to the Grammys, and then tomorrow they're here and there and there. And I'm like, we need Lewis to focus on the game because we just need him to win the last championship. And then he can go and be with whoever, wherever, and spend the rest of his time on a yacht. That's fine. But he has to break that record. But hey, Kim was there yesterday. Cameras were so focused on her. And look at her boo. He did very well, coming second in Monaco. So let me know what you thought of that Grand Prix yesterday. At 10 o'clock, we are going to speak to Home Affairs about these interventions the president has announced. We'll also speak to the International Relations Minister because the president also announced what they will be doing to get the entire continent and more so our region to work together in dealing with this issue of migration. I'm also going to bring in the Much and Much organizers because I want to know if they are satisfied with these interventions. What does it mean for their 30 June deadline? And then at 10:30, we're going to do the second installment of the series that we started last week, looking at Johannesburg entities. I don't think we talk enough about and even understand all of the Johannesburg entities. And these are key entities for implementing service delivery in the city. So what are these agencies responsible for? Are they really a catalyst for service delivery in the city? How functional and stable are they? And who's running them? We started last week by looking at the Joburg City Parks and Zoo, and today we're going to be focusing on the Johannesburg Property Company. So for any questions you may have, get them ready for 10:30 conversation. And then we wrap up the show at 11 o'clock with our Family Matters feature. And today we're talking about how a parent's words or comments can shape their children and even their internal voice. I'm not sure if we fully realize how over time the words children repeatedly hear from parents or their caregivers or their teachers and other influential adults can become their inner voice, that silent narrator that guides how they even think about themselves, right? Because the messages we repeatedly communicate, whether positive or negative, can become the beliefs that these children carry about themselves for years to come. So you've got to be careful what you speak to your children. And I would like to hear from some of you who are much older now and you remember the words your teacher, your guardians, your parents used to say to you that have now affected, whether negatively or positively, have shaped the men or the women that you are today. That's our chat on our Family Matters feature at 11 o'clock. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Oh man, you know, listening to this is Chariots of Fire. So this is what they play at Comrades before the gun goes and we start running. And every time they play this, we cry. I mean, many of us cry. Like you see adults around you crying because there's just something confronting about being at the starting line and you're just about to embark on what really is the ultimate human race. So this is a mini tribute to the Comrades runners this year. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're ready because we are 7 days away from Comrades Marathon. It's on Sunday this coming weekend. And I know that there are a lot of us who are trying to stay away from the cold because this is the worst time you can get sick. and I've been coughing a bit this morning and I'm already stressed. So I hope you guys are doing well. If you're running Comrades on Sunday, how are you doing? How's your tapering going? Are you getting sick? I've been getting messages from some people who are injured. There's nothing as worse as getting sick or getting injured in the week, 2 weeks, or a month before Comrades. I can only imagine how difficult that is to some of you that are dealing with injuries. So let me know how the journey has been. 6 days, 7 days away from Comrades. How are you feeling? Give me a call or send me a WhatsApp voice note. It's 21 minutes after 9.
This Youth Month, 702 commemorates the youth of yesterday
and celebrates the youth of today. Let's walk the talk.
Africa Milani,
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Dealing with the issue of illegal migration, where ultimately he vowed to take action. John, you were listening to that address, I imagine, yesterday. What are your thoughts?
There's a saying in Tshivenḓa that says, Shango lasha ya thovela ndi mulanu. Interpreted is that where there's no leader or leadership, people eat one another. That is the situation in our country now. We've got no government.
You might not agree with administration, but to make as a statement of fact that we have no government is simply not true.
Well, it's very weak and not doing what it's supposed to do.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
It's lunchtime and Mr. D has you covered. Open the app, pick your favorite meal and enjoy free delivery between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. No restrictions, no hassle. Skip the lines, stay at your desk and let us bring lunch to you. Plus, every food order on the Mr. D app gives you a chance to win exciting prizes. Download the Mr. D app now and make lunchtime effortless.
Joburg winter is creeping in. The mornings are colder, the scarves are back, and suddenly getting out of bed feels like an extreme sport. So why not follow the sun? Swap the chill for warm Durban beaches, island time in Mauritius, turquoise waters in Zanzibar, or even a European summer with a vibe. Wherever the sunshine is calling, Flight Centre will help you get there. Visit your nearest Flight Centre store or flightcentre.co.za to start planning. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Let's count backward. 5, insurance. 4, pineapple. 3, insurance. 2, pineapple. 1, you're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Good morning, Mzansi. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's Thursday.
No.
TGIF, am I right?
Citroen Super Saturday is back. Yes. Test drive or buy any Citroen and stand to win a world-class rugby experience. South Africa versus New Zealand, 5 September. Double your entries with the all-new Citroen Basalt from 354,900 Rand up to 40,000 Rand deal assist. Book at citroen.co.za. Runs till 30 June. T's and C's apply.
In the AI race, most businesses are left to figure it out on their own. But what if the ultimate AI assistant was already built into the tools your team uses every single day? This Wednesday from 6 a.m., 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingo will be in conversation with leading Google Cloud distributor, DigiCloud Africa. They'll explain how to securely scale, collaborate smoothly, and get real return on investment from AI. So tune in to 702 in conversation with DigiCloud Africa.
Your voice,
your station,
your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
25 after 9, straight to your calls. Bosch, you are in Soweto. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Clement. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
I'm good. Sorry, man. I just wanted to comment about the president. So I heard him saying, like, if a civilian is asking people papers, that is wrong, it's illegal, which is true. But I didn't hear anything what could be the consequences. Because as far as I know, Mr. Manyathela, so I have a friend who's from Limpopo. So he's darker in skin. And he's afraid, like, going to work is a challenge for him because he's darker. Imagine the guy now, he has to carry the ID everywhere he goes. And thirdly, when I went to internet last night after the speech of Mr. President, So there are people who are asking, who's this guy? Is it a Zai Zai? Is it a Kwere? So those kind of comments are really hurting.
Yeah.
So we need to know that if you are a civilian, you're asking documents from people, there are consequences for that. And the president didn't speak anything of the consequences for that.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting.
Absolutely, Abosh. And I think we have to be honest about what people are experiencing on the ground. And this is not to say you're trying to bring about tribal tensions. We're just dealing with what people are experiencing. And some people are experiencing instances where they are stopped because of what they look like. Or they're asked, where are you from? And when they start speaking a language, whether it's Shangaan or Tsonga, and then the assumption is, oh, Mozambique, or are you even here legally? And these are citizens. And that is unacceptable. I would never feel comfortable to be stopped by a random stranger as a citizen of this country, and I'm told, produce your identification. Just what? Because of the language that I'm speaking? Because of what I look like? That's wild. And unfortunately, that's what's beginning to happen in some sections. And we've got to speak out against it. We've got to challenge it, whether you are affected or not. Jabu, you are in Johannesburg. Good morning.
Clement, how are you, my man?
Sharp, man. Go ahead.
I know I won't be able to tell you how to do your job. Okay, right. We want to comment with regard to, I want to comment with regard to the president address yesterday. When he said the law enforcement is stand by, are they stand by to maintain law and order, or we want to see another June 1976 massacre like we have seen in Marikana? Because now it means that this law enforcement will be fighting against their own South African brothers who are trying to address the illegal immigrants, the crime, and the traumatization of our community by the Zamazamas. No, this man must remember, this is June, Youth Month, and if these law enforcers will be killing live bullets like we are facing the apartheid government in 1976, then we're going to see a massacre again. His blood is already filled of Marikana, where he said people, concoction force must be employed. How many people we lost today? That in our family, their children are suffering. No, we cannot say the law enforcement to stand by for the people who are actually trying to address the problems of this country.
Yes, Jabu, but the president didn't say that.
But he cannot be in a position to say law enforcement is stand by to maintain law and order.
Okay, Jabu, 1 second. I need to come in there, please. I'm hearing what you're saying about your concerns, because we have seen before in this country the heavy-handedness of the SAPS. But the president didn't say that they're going to be on standby to somehow kill people. And of course, things may get out of control, as is the possibility with anything. And if that happens, there must also be accountability, because that would be criminal for them to be using live ammunition to manage crowds. So what I'm trying to say is, let's not pretend as if the president said the police will be out there to kill people. No, he said to maintain law and order, because there are people who are legitimately concerned about the 30th of June and how they're going to be affected. As I said, there are some locals already who are catching strays. So this government has a responsibility to also protect people that may not share the same sentiments with you, or people that live in this country that may be mistaken for being an illegal foreigner.
Clement.
Sure.
How are you, my man? Listen. No, understand. He didn't say it, but indirectly you can look at it. If these people are going to march on the 30th and faced with this law enforcement, what will happen? What do we expect to happen there?
Well, we expect law enforcement to do their job and manage the crowds and make sure that nothing gets out of control. I mean, if you're trying to suggest to me, Jabu, that people must just go march and there must not be any sign of law enforcement. That's not realistic. It's not practical. That's not how things work. In any case where you've got thousands of people that are going to gather, you need some enforcement there because things can get out of control. And I'm saying to you, you and I must just pray and hope that things go well, that the marchers are going to stay disciplined, there's not going to be any violence, but the police equally so are going to stay disciplined and do their job and not fire live ammunition or even intimidate the marchers. That's what we must hope for. And if anything untoward happens, whether it's some of the marchers who are committing criminal acts or it's the police who have done something criminal, unlawful, there must be accountability. It's 9:32. Thanks for your call, Jabu in Johannesburg. More of your calls and WhatsApps after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. So good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has resumed today with a new witness. The commission last week focused largely on the stolen consignment of drugs at the Hawks offices in Durban. In June 2021, police intercepted a shipping container carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine with an estimated street value of about 200 million rand. The ANC in eThekwini says it aims to regain lost ground in order to fully govern the metro in the upcoming local government elections. The party's regional task team held a voters' registration drive in the city yesterday. Party Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, battles continue to plague the whites-only enclave of Kleinfontein, with some residents accusing the leadership of running the settlement like a criminal enterprise. Located in the farm belt of eastern Pretoria, Kleinfontein is one of 17 illegal settlements identified by the Tshwane municipality. EWN recently attended a heated meeting where about 100 community members met with the municipality's political leadership. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the N1 north towards Midrand, we've got heavy traffic volumes along this route. This is between Winnie Mandela Drive and the Baklu interchange. That's due to an accident seen along this route. There's also queuing traffic on the M1 north between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange while heading towards the Baklu interchange. Delays again on the N3 north from Modderfontein Road. If you are traveling in the city of Tshwane, we've got some issues on the N1 south approaching John Forster Drive. There's also queuing traffic on the R80 east approaching Eskiam Pahlele Drive. We'll have more updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 Rand in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The XXL Savings Championship is here. And with Checkers, everyone can save. Get deals like Doritos Corn Chips 145 grams, any two for 42 Rand. Crystal Valley Cheddar or Gouda Cheese 750 grams for 99.99 each. Save 30 Rand. And Optimo Detergent Capsules 30 per pack. Buy two and get a third free. Save 150 Rand. Valid until 14 June. Only at Checkers.
You know when your people are giving their best. Not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care, we cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is underwritten by ANG, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, a licensed FSP.
There's so much health information out there, but how do you know what to trust? Catch this show tomorrow from 9 a.m. for Health Matters by Cipla Africa, where we'll be unpacking important health conversations designed to help you better understand your body and well-being. Health Matters by Cipla Africa is a trusted hub bringing you expert-led health conversations you can trust. Then head to Prime Media Plus app or primemediaplus.com. Scroll to Prime Media Highlights and watch the latest Health Matters video featuring leading experts and thought-provoking conversations. Or WhatsApp the keyword health to 072 702 1702 and we'll send you the link to the content.
This Youth Month, the Clement Manyathela Show
commemorates the youth of 1976. Let's walk the talk.
On 702.
It's 24 minutes before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line. Jabu, Rakwena, Letlogonolo, Stelo, Mkhululi, I see you. I'll come to your calls in a moment. I want to start with some WhatsApps that have come through. I've also been asking you about comrades. If you're running on Sunday, all the best. How are you feeling? Are you ready? And did you watch the Grand Prix in Monaco yesterday? What did you make of it?
No, man. All of us in the beginning of the year, when we found out that Kim and him are dating, it was such a shocker. But I remember Clement, my mom, telling me, love will bring out the best in you. And she said, watch the space. Hamilton is going to be number one. Anything that Kim Kardashian touches is gold. Love her or hate her, she's a successful businesswoman. That Kardashian name,
yeah,
it only leads to success. So I'm not complaining. I want them to be successful in their relationship. As long as our Hamilton gets an 8th championship, I'm fine. Thank you.
And that's all we want, right? That's all we want. And I will be honest, I was concerned in the beginning, as I said, when they started dating, because I thought, oh my goodness. Because Kim Kardashian is like a rock star, man. She's everywhere. And I get it. It's part of her business. She travels a lot. She's at different events. And she would want to take her boyfriend with her. And I just feel like the boyfriend has a mission. And until that mission is accomplished, we can't afford anything that compromises on the mission. So, but hey, look at what happened in Monaco yesterday. Kim rocked up, and our dear Lewis Hamilton got his 2nd podium. Came 2nd in Monaco and nearly came 1st. So what's going to happen in the coming races? Kim, please attend all of them. It's 22 before 10.
Hi, Clement. I'm going for my 4th Comrades Marathon this coming Sunday. Yeah, I must say I'm prepared. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I'm confident I'm going to finish under 9 hours, which is a Belrowan medal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. This is Kanya here from Soweto. Sure.
Good morning, Clement. I'm the 702 and it's Olwe from Sky State. After hearing that song, my body was shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
I will be lining up for my 5th comrade this year.
Wow.
So after playing that song, my body was a little bit shaking. So what's happening now? But yeah, we're coping. It's tough. We're trying to avoid anything that can come on our way. So yeah, when you wake up, you just feel a small pain. Then you say, hey, what's happening now? I'm injured or what? So you make sure that you try to avoid all those things that will distract you or on focusing on comrade. Yeah, we're trying. We hope we'll do our best. Thank you. Ole from Sky City.
Keep trying, my brother. I'm Kululi. You're in East London. Good morning.
Hey, Tabra.
Hey, Diringda.
How are you?
I'm all right, man. Are we seeing you next week Sunday?
Yeah, for sure. I'm the bus driver that you met at Makonjo, if you remember.
Oh yes, Kulili. You guys are top runners.
That's why I said, let me call my man. I'll be an official bus driver there.
Which bus are you driving?
9, I'm official, but I would love sub 10, but we will see. We still have some few days. And I also write road reviews. If you have a slot Friday, we can talk. But if even now I can say in a few seconds what will happen, but it's fine.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that on Friday because I want to give some of the runners some tips. But no, Mkulili, I'll see you on the road. I'll probably join your bus at some point because I always rely on buses after poly shots. Yeah, you need a bus to carry you to the end. Mkulili in East London, thank you so much for your call, man. I remember I met him at, there's a marathon called Makonjwa. It's probably top 3 of the toughest marathons I've ever done. Like we run from the border of Eswatini and you go up a mountain and then you go down and it's so tough. But yeah. It's one of the best. Like, the scenery is just out of this world. It's now 18 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's take some more calls, some reaction from what the president said yesterday. Jabu, what do you make of what the president said? Good morning.
Yes, Clement.
Hey.
I know I said I can't tell you how to do your job.
Wait, Jabu, did we not take you earlier? Hey, boy. No. What's going on? We took Jabu's call earlier on, and I don't know, unless he didn't drop, Did he not drop his call? Oh, okay, I see. So normally when we're done with the calls, the call will drop, and then we take the others. And I see on the list of the lineup here, Jabu's call was still there. But no, we've already heard from him. Let's go to Rakwena, who is in Pretoria North. Rakwena, what are your thoughts? Good morning.
Good morning. Clement, the first thing I want to start with is with this thing of IDs and so on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. People, whether South African or whoever, I think people must always carry their ID with. It's common sense, because people can collapse on the road, something can happen to them, and suddenly, if you don't have any identification, it becomes a problem. So just for that reason, I would say, and for many other reasons, people cannot be going around like cows and dogs and so on without ID. I leave that one there. This other one of the president, the main cause of illegal migration, which they don't want to discuss properly and deal with properly, is the kind of employers we have in this country. These people are coming to South Africa because they know they'll get employment. That's point number one. They are employed by even ministers and government officials. Even Ramaphosa himself at his farm in Palapala, he had employed the Mozambicans and so on. So now, this thing of if you want to nip this thing in the bud, forget about the borders. If people enter the borders but they don't find jobs in South Africa here, they will not be coming here. So the main pull factor is getting jobs. Most of the nannies, gardens, constructions, anywhere you go, farms and so on, is the employers who get these people. The Chinese take them to work in factories where they underpay them and so on. So if you can't deal with that element, you will not be able to stop this thing. It will continue to happen because the border itself is too long to be policed, inch by inch. That's not going to happen. The problem is right here inside with us here.
Yeah.
And the second thing is this, that they are running away from, is that we don't have refugee camps here. Now, government has turned townships and villages into refugee camps. And why they do that is because they are not affected themselves. These guys live comfortable in suburbs and so on and so forth, and they don't feel the pressure that communities feel in the townships and the villages where they have to grapple for resources with this illegal migrants.
Yeah, got you. Rakwena in Pretoria North, thank you. In fact, someone said to me who is at Home Affairs was like, yeah, sure, we're busy celebrating the 10,000 inspectors that the president announced will be brought in. But what about immigration inspectors? Because apparently, you know how many we have? We've got 800 immigration officials. They are responsible for every single province in this country. How are you not going to have companies that continue to employ people without the right papers or who are not here legally when you don't have enough labor inspectors and you don't even have enough immigration inspectors? Lehlogonolo, you're in Midrand. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Morning, Venture. Morning to you.
Sure.
And the team. Good luck on the comrades on this coming weekend, Madi Major.
Thank you, man.
Madi Major, the problem, where the problem is that I don't think there's any South African right now that believes what the president is saying. The president has said things for the longest time. For the past 9 years, he has said things. It is not the first time we hear about the 10,000 labor inspectors. It was said last year already. Last year it was said. The process is going to take forever to appoint those people. This thing is going to happen in 4 years' time or in 3 years' time. We know how the government works, and especially when the president says something. And he mustn't blame people when they don't believe him. But imagine we're not an island whereby we cannot have other people in the country. Okay,
all the president is being asked for and the ANC, deal with the illegal immigration, because you cannot have Lekhohonolo in Zambia and Zambian authorities don't know where Lekhohonolo, in which house is Lekhohonolo staying at in Zambia. That's all we say. Because you get crime so much that you get fingerprints. The police are even giving up. They say fingerprints, it's not there. It's the same fingerprints, it's not on the system. You understand?
Yeah.
So if we're going to continue making promises, because of now, we can see that the people want to do this thing by themselves. And then we come and say to people, no, we're doing this thing. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work. People need to see action.
Yeah, got you. Lekhohonolo in Midrand, thank you. Stelo, you're in Brakpan. What do you want to say? Hi.
Sure, Bratland, how are you?
Sharp, man. Go ahead.
Thank you for taking my call, and great show every day. I'm here for Ramaphosa. I think history is going to judge that man as the most consequential leader we've ever had post-1994. No one man, if you take all our leaders, has been so responsive to the direct concerns of the people and has taken such far-reaching actions as he has. You may agree, you may believe it is too late, whatever it is, but the very fact that he stood yesterday and he addressed us on just this agenda is already unprecedented. And he said, your concerns are legitimate. You are correct to complain. He didn't gaslight us, which has been the ANC government agenda for years. He did not say, just go and Jacob Zuma was the president of the ANC, Thabo Mbeki of the state, and they both said when this thing comes down, the foreigners must just go back to the townships and integrate. If we addressed it then as we did yesterday, we would not be here. He's directly, for the first time ever, addressed the checker 60-60s of this country. He's addressed the restaurants. He said, these employers were going to make the law stringent such that the fines are going to be consequential. It may even lead to imprisonment. He has for the first time threatened whether there's 10,000 inspectors come tomorrow or in 4 years' time, employers are going to start to do the right thing. As of this morning, someone called me. They were called in a meeting in a restaurant. They were told they've got 3 months. After this, they've already appointed, this morning, the announcement was yesterday, this morning, they've already appointed a labor agency to look for South African workers to replace them. So that's going to have a huge impact on employment.
Got you. Stelo in Brakpan, thank you. More of your calls after the break. It's 11 before 10.
If you're a fan of the beautiful game, you'll recognize this. And this. But what about this? It's your chance to score big time. Win your share of up to 2 million rand with Standard Bank. It's game day every day. To enter, open and use any qualifying Standard Bank account, in-app or in branch. Already a Standard Bank customer? Sign up for Standard Bank Connect online to get a bonus entry. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people on Sunday, the 26th of July, Babiza Bonke. And this year, you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 8-kilometer 44 Main Street route takes you from Ellis Park through Maboneng and Joel City, past the Field of Dreams and Maharashi Invisibility Institute. You then go through the Main Street Precinct, Gandhi Square, and past the Carlton Center, finishing off at Ellis Park. So whether you're taking on the 8-kilometer, 5-kilometer, or 15-kilometer route, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
I heard she's got a recruiter team working 24/7.
That one. She has a secret supply of talent.
I knew it. She's definitely keeping a secret from us.
Nothing mysterious, guys. It's SA Youth, South Africa's largest youth online recruitment platform. Fast to post, effortless to use, and effective every time.
Recruit on the portal to potential. sayouth.co.za, powering South Africa's youth workforce.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 Rand in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
The Clement Manyathela Show.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Tabo, you calling from Togoza. Good morning.
I have John, and how are you?
Shop, man. Go ahead.
I'm okay, thanks. Tabo, I don't think this time we really need addresses from the president. We need action. I mean, he's the one person that always comes about decisive. I don't even know if he knows what decisive is. Yesterday, in his story, in his presentation, he was supposed to mention just one thing like he did during the COVID-19. Just to say, if you are a foreign national living in South Africa, carry your documents with you all the time. And then activate the law enforcement agency to say we are going to do the search and seizure. People should just be stopped and ask them to produce the documents. And if those who don't have documents, they get arrested. And it's about time that he also acts on the countries as well to say we are going to align these people. And if we arrest millions of Zimbabweans the Zimbabwean government must send their people, must send their parcels to come and carry their people. So we cannot just be paying on people going back. So I think I really pray that on the 30th it becomes one of those turning points date whereby the citizen takes sovereignty of their country back into their hands, because it's been in the government, but the government has misused it. So I think he was supposed to just say, if you are in South Africa, because you can't be talking about borders now. Border gates don't actually mean anything because people are already here illegally. So you need to work on this thing internally. Say to everyone, just carry your documents with you, because we're going to be searching and checking on everyone that's like in here. That's the only way.
Some people produce those documents, Tabo, and then the matches are saying, no, this is fraudulent, because that's already an assumption, right? And I'm not saying some of the documents may not be fraudulent, but I'm saying what's the end goal? If I produce something and you're still not satisfied, and then what?
No, that's where the law enforcement must do that job. They are the ones that will be able to identify if it's a legit document or not. But then that's why I say he's supposed to activate the law enforcement agency to be the one that is actually going searching and not the citizens. But then he needs that with people that are outside that are trying to come in here. We're dealing with people that are here already. They have hijacked houses, buildings, everything. You just go into all those houses and then sit there and search. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and some of them will say to you that we've been waiting for Home Affairs to give us our relevant documentation and it's taking time, or they want us to pay a bribe. It's so complex. I don't think it's as linear as we would want it to be. I do think, Tabo, that, maybe, I first of all, I think the government seems to be hearing the concerns on the ground. Otherwise, the president wouldn't just address the nation. Like Celo said, give him credit for that, in that he still comes. Even if he does it late, he still comes and says, we've heard you and this is what we've put together to resolve it. I just worry that sometimes we get so impressed by the political statements. That's why I'm saying, okay, fine, we hear what the president said yesterday, but where's the money? Like, you've got to invest in these interventions. Put the money where your mouth is, because the Border Management Authority just needs more funding to be able to ensure that there's protection of our borders. And you can make as many political statements as you want. If you are not investing in the capacity of the Border Management Authority, then I don't know. Rato, you calling from Midrand. You are preparing for comrades yourself. Good morning.
Yes, I'm preparing for. Actually, I've prepared for comrades.
Mm-hmm.
This week, there's nothing more we can do to change the status quo. But yeah, I usually, my motto is you're never ready, but just prepared for the race. Yeah, the reason I'm calling, we took a picture together at Makonjwa, you, myself, and
yes, I remember. Yes. You were taking a video even of Makonjwa.
I took a video and
I know you are ready then. You are ready, Rato. I remember you. Thank you for calling and all the best. I'll see you on the road on Sunday.
Morning, 702. President was just saying, because the president always say, but implementation doesn't happen in South Africa. You look at the private schools, we have private schools here in the Val. Lots of illegal foreigners are employed there. They are paid 3,000 per month and they don't mind. Remember, our sisters are here not working. Anonymous from the Val.
Good morning, Clement. I think it is disingenuous for the president or anyone to say now this is a tripartisan thing. No. We've seen these marches. First, I went to the Eastern Cape, where the Xhosas are. Recently, we've seen them going to Mpumalanga, where the Tsongas are. And they have been calling people of Limpopo to say, can we come and march there for illegal foreigners? So this is just a way for people to pour cold water on these marches. It's Minister Khumbudzo Chamveni who's actually telling the country that now this is a tribalistic thing.
As usual, this government is being reactive instead of being proactive. Just because people are now fighting, standing up, South Africans fighting and standing up for its country. Now Cyril thinks he can show up. I just feel it's too late at this point. It's really, really, really too late. They've had years to address this issue and they let it balloon and balloon and balloon into the crisis that it is today.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
The groundbreaking musical Nkoli, A Fierce and Fabulous Life, returns to the UJ Theatre on the Kingsway campus in Auckland Park this weekend. Nkoli celebrates the life of Simon Nkoli, who was an anti-apartheid activist, LGBTQI+ pioneer, AIDS activist and organizer of Joburg's first Pride Month. Nkoli explodes on the stage, combining voguing, dance, rap and video projections. It's the powerful story of a remarkable young freedom fighter who changed South Africa's history. There are 3 performances only this weekend of Nkoli at UJ's theatre before it heads to Germany for its European premiere. Nkoli tickets are available now on Quicket.
I'm Samela Kelpoy, an actress and a mum. Do you know what's in your cupboard? I've been trying to be intentional about the food I buy and keep in my cupboard. Unhealthy packaged foods can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and diabetes. Support front-of-package warning labels on unhealthy packaged foods, high in saturated fat.org. That's HEALA.org.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
It's 10 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Hawks officer Joseph Sibola has returned to the Madlanga Commission to continue with his testimony on the Araton drug bust. In July 2021, police confiscated 741 kilograms of cocaine from a truck in Araton, south of Johannesburg. Last time Sibola was at the commission, he testified that he arrested 2 police officers on suspicion they were trying to steal the drugs. Previous witnesses have testified at the commission over how the drug bust was riddled with irregularities by police officers involved. 2 bodies have been recovered from the Crocodile River in Mpumalanga. The victims are believed to be a young man and a woman aged between 18 and 23. Their bodies were found trapped inside a car in the body of water over the weekend near Kamakuku. The police's Jabu Ndumbane says rescue crews used jaws of life to reach the victims. It's believed another victim is missing in the water.
As police were preparing to leave the scene, another family arrived and informed members that their son has been reportedly traveling in the vehicle. According to the family, he has not returned home and they have been unable to reach him on his cell phone. They believe he might be the third victim as he's still missing in the river.
The ANC in eThekwini says it aims to regain lost ground in order to fully govern the metro in the upcoming local elections. The party's regional task team held a voters' registration drive in the city yesterday. Party Secretary General Fikile Mbalula and other ANC NEC deployees attended the gathering. In 2021, the ANC lost the outright majority in eThekwini, which forced it to co-govern with the EFF, NFP and IFP. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
Electioneering for the much-anticipated local government election is now well underway. Parties have started setting sights on municipalities of interest, with the only metro in KZN, eThekwini, highly targeted. The ANC, which has been running the municipality with the help of other parties for nearly 4 years now, says it wants to fully control it again. eThekwini Regional Convener Thabani Nyawose.
On election day, the 4th of November, we are going to collect 1.2 million votes for the ANC. This is an agreement we made with our structures and volunteers.
He says the party also
We also agreed out of the 112 wards in eThekwini, the ANC has 74 ward councillors. We are going to protect all of them to remain in the hands of the ANC.
Nyawose says coalitions will be a thing of the past come the upcoming polls. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And factional battles continue to plague the whites-only enclave of Klein-Fontaine, with some residents accusing the leadership of the community of running the settlements like a criminal enterprise. Located in the farm belts of eastern Pretoria, Klein-Fontaine is one of 17 illegal settlements identified by the Tshwane municipality. EWN recently attended a meeting where about 100 community members met with the municipality's political leadership. Tabiso Goba reports.
Klein-Fontaine was established in 1992 with the sole purpose of building a cultural settlement for white Afrikaners. However, over the past couple of years, the idealistic vision of a self-sustainable Afrikaner paradise has diminished. The settlement manages its own water and sewage system. However, some residents have complained of paying high taxes and levies in return for poor service delivery. Long-time resident Hank Cilia has been leading the fights from the inside, taking Klein-Fontaine to court and inspiring a tax revolt.
Why I said that Klein-Fontaine is a criminal enterprise because the court said it's a criminal enterprise. And Klein-Fontaine is run by a cartel. We are not allowed to speak on Klein-Fontaine. It's like North Korea.
During the community meeting, some residents say they want Klein-Fontaine to be formalized as a township so they can pay their municipal bills directly to the city of Tshwane. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,297.40 an ounce. The rand is at 16.64 to the dollar, 22.17 to the pound, 19.17 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.55 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Houghton, we've got an accident on the M1 South. It happened right after Hudson Drive. It's causing heavy delays. There's also queuing traffic on the M1 North between the Crown Interchange and Carr Street while heading towards Sunning Hill. Do expect bumper-to-bumper traffic along the N1 North between Winnie Mandela Drive and the Baklu Interchange.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 22 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: Hawks officer Joseph Sibola has returned to the Matlanga Commission to continue his testimony on a large drug bust.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
6 minutes after 10 o'clock, Dumelang, welcome. This is the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Big thank you to all of you for your contribution on the 702 open line, whether actively or silently, because even when you're listening to us and you're not calling, or you are contributing in a way, the conversations you have about the debates that happen, what's been spoken about on the open line. So we also appreciate you. Remember, at 10:30, we're going to do the second installment of the series we started last week. We're looking at Johannesburg entities. How much do you understand about the agencies in the city of Johannesburg, which are actually quite key for implementing service delivery in the city? Today, we're going to be focusing on the Johannesburg Property Company. So any questions you have for them, get them ready for 10:30. But right now, we start with what happened last night, President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address and some of the interventions that he has announced. How far enough do they go to deal with the crisis of illegal immigration in this country?
702 salutes the youth of 1976
who dared to walk the talk.
The system has done so many things
and change the course of history forever.
So President Cyril Ramaphosa addressing the nation last night and announcing a number of interventions to deal with the issue of illegal migration. So he's put forward a number of government interventions to tackle this crisis, which includes a phased relocation of refugee reception centers to border posts, setting up dedicated courts to fast-track the deportation of undocumented migrants, discontinuing the Green ID book, and increasing penalties, including imprisonment, for employers who violate immigration laws. So joining me on the line now, my first guest on this conversation is Njabulo Nzunza, who is the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs. Deputy Minister, thank you for making time for us. Good morning. It's all good and well to have all these different interventions the President has announced, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to money. Is there money being put behind these interventions, and when are we going to start that flickering in?
Well, some of them already have resources committed to it, Clement. One of the things that I think is most immediate that the President talked about, which we might have missed, is the issue of the scaling up of what we call the ETA, which is the Electronic Travel Authorization. That one, we've been given a target of July 2026, which is just a month away, to make sure that we capture biometrics for all of those who are coming in for short stay arrivals, which will allow us to be able to also load up their facial recognition capabilities. Now, how does this solve the problem, Clement? Remember that our neighbors like Zimbabwe, Lesotho, most of them have 90-day stay visas, and that is where the problems start. They come into the country and then they overstay, and you have limited capability of tracking them, and then they become illegal into the country. But with us being able to capture their biometrics, it means that any movement they then make throughout the country in terms of opening bank accounts, whatever they do, will be able to trace them with those biometrics. So for me, that is very, very important, and it has a shorter stay.
Well, the challenge
it
is...
has a shorter implementation period. Sorry.
Okay. The challenge, though, is we already have people in this country, some of whom are here illegally. We don't have any records of them. How do we deal with that? I see that the President speaks about special courts being dedicated to help with the deportation. But how do we deal with the many people, and we still don't even know how many people are illegal immigrants in this country. So what's the time period for dealing with those who are already here, because we still don't have their records?
Well, we had a JCPS meeting, remember, building up to the announcements that were made by the President yesterday. We sort of sat at the back and prepared all the immediate interventions. And one of them is around the issue of the inspections that will now be heightened. We did some last week in Newcastle, myself with Labour, Deputy Minister Sbiya and police. We're also going to be doing more during the course of this week. But we also did another one in Western Cape. But those ones, they are not in the main designed to be heightened because we are there. they are to be heightened because they are now joint operations that will be running in various areas in the country. And those ones are specific as before, because before you deport a person, you must take them before a magistrate. That's what the law says, and then the process becomes long. But with the specialized courts now, it's going to be much easier for us to be able to pick up a person, then take them to those specialized courts, and then deport those people. Obviously, it comes at a very high cost, and I'm happy that even the embassies now, they've been coming up saying that they are repatriating their citizens, which is something they have not been paying for. In the past, when we deport people, we had to pay ourselves. For now, we are going to be sending the bills to those various embassies because we understand that they do have financial resources. So there must be cooperation also at that level. So the heightened inspections will help us deal with those who are already within the country illegally.
Okay, hold on. I need to make sure I'm hearing you clearly. Are you saying that it's been resolved that as you deport these illegal foreigners, you're going to be sending the bill to their embassies? Because, of course, the embassies have arranged their own travels lately, like the Uganda, I think Malawi as well, was arranging for people who want to leave, who are feeling threatened. But that's not really deportation. Are you saying going forward, you're going to be sending the bill to the embassies?
Yeah, Clement, let me just make it very clear on that one. We will previously deport people and then we will have to foot the bill, because we have been doing it for quite some time. It's quite an expensive thing. But what we have seen now is that ideally we should be sending the bill to those various embassies. And I think that's what we need to start doing now. We are having discussions with the Department of Labor, also with the Department of DECO and those embassies that, look, if we find people, we'll be sending the bill to you so that you can be able to pay for the bill. So that's what ought to be happening. It's not happening right now, and that is why I'm crying about it, that, look, we are paying quite a lot of money deporting citizens of other countries. With some of the other countries, we have sort of an agreement with them that those people who come from them will have to then pay for them to go back. So when we sign, for instance, the 90-day stay visa-free arrangements that we'll have had with countries like Kenya and so on, we have a returns agreement with them that your citizens, when we have found them to have overstayed in the country, that returns agreement then kicks in so that we do not carry the financial burden alone.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is that those are some of the avenues that we need to now start thinking of doing and implementing here.
How many immigration inspectors do we have? Because we're celebrating labor inspectors, but I mean, my understanding is that we have about 800. Are you able to confirm that?
Yes, we don't have a lot of inspectors, Clement, within the country in the inspectorate unit, and that is what when we decide the issue of capacitation, because there was a period where the security cluster was heavily defunded. And that is why now we are seeing the problems that we are seeing here today. So we need to build capacity, and that we agree that we cannot be able to reach each and every one of them. But what we are doing now is relying more on technology as against relying on physical verification. Now, when I talk about the issue of capturing biometrics, that will mean everywhere a person goes. If you go to ShopRite and then you say, this is your number, you want to open a card, or you go to a bank, they capture your biometrics, we are able to follow you through in the ecosystem without us having to physically locate you where you are.
I get that. But again, as I said, the issue is not only for future.
It's very beneficial. So the upscaling of...
So that's what will come up, right, with the investment in technology. But I'm saying the concerns that are being raised by the marchers is that there are people already here whom we don't have records of. And I'm saying the most basic thing I would have thought is just ensure that there are enough inspectors. I mean, how could you have 800 inspectors who are responsible for all the 9 provinces in this country? And you think you'll root out illegal immigration? Deputy Minister?
Yeah, the system that we are working with now, remember, as I told you, that we are working on a joint... yes, as I said, Clement, can you still hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Clement, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying, remember, last week, 2 weeks back, there was a JCPS announced operations that we'll be doing.
Yeah.
Which means that the capacity that we have as Home Affairs will now be backed up by the police. It will now be backed up by labor working with our inspectors. For instance, you can have about 5 inspectors at any given moment, but you find that they are working with about 20 police officers and so on. So that will increase the impact that we'll make on the ground. We are also physically involved in those joint operations. As I've indicated, we've done one in the Western Cape, we did another one in Newcastle, there's more that we'll be doing. But what we are also doing there is that we are not coming as deputy ministers and just inspecting on those particular days. We are creating the linkages for those cells of the police, labor, as well as Home Affairs. Even when we are gone, we expect them to do their jobs. What will also make it easy to process them is what the President calls specialized courts now. Because when you deport a person, you must take them through court. So now if you have five immigration officers from Home Affairs, as well as 10 or 20 more so police, then it means we are able to process them much quicker with much more speed.
What about,
as I've said, the ETA is not a long-term issue. We have been given July 2026 this year to roll it out and expand it.
Okay. What about your own inefficiencies, though, as Home Affairs Deputy Minister? Because there are people, for instance, that have faced delays with visa processing for qualification of foreigners. So the delay creates those loopholes that then leads to even instances of corruption. There are people also sending me WhatsApp messages and saying, please ask about the issue of just the process of becoming citizens, because we've been waiting for 3 years. So that seems to be the problem as well, is you've got your own officials who maybe the system is simply way too slow and it leads to people just sticking around, or two, they've got to pay bribes for them to get their own documentations. And if they don't pay those bribes, then they're out, in the zoo, and everybody comes and says, well, you're not here legally, without understanding the context.
But I'm very happy you asked that question, Clement, because when it comes to the issue of corruption, we've made it very clear that we're not going to tolerate it. And how do we do that? We introduced the SIU to say, let's clean up the environment that is there some years back. The report is out now. We've had about 249 referrals to the NPA for prosecution and arrest, which means that the environment inside Home Affairs is being sanitized for purposes of corruption. I understand that some people will say, well, we are illegal in the country because we have not been receiving our documents from Home Affairs. And I must make it very clear, it's not that every person who comes to you, you must then issue them with a document, because our system was clogged by economic migrants who then presented themselves as refugees or as asylum seekers seeking refuge in the country, whereas their claims were not legitimate. And that happened around the period when there was a global meltdown, where we saw a skyrocketing number of people who were applying for asylum. And because of the blue sky approach, I say blue sky approach, because a person can then take you to appeal, ultimately to court. Others will launch in new application. And that is why we had to fight that case that we won in the court. That said, you can't have a person perpetually launching new applications, and then at the end of the day, they come and say, well, we don't have documents because Home Affairs is not giving us documents, whereas they cannot prove their claim of seeking asylum in the country.
He's the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs. Let me bring in Ronald Lamola now, who is the Minister of International Relations. Minister, thank you for also joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and to the listeners of Radio 702.
Last night, the President said through SADC, they will be seeking to find sustainable solutions to this crisis of illegal immigration. Help us understand the responsibility of these envoys that will now go to other countries. What are they going to be? What's the mandate?
Yeah, thank you very much, Clement. As you are aware, the African Union has got a migration protocol, which we also have at the SADC level, which advocates for regular migration that is well managed, that is for economic purposes, that deals with a number of issues impacting migrants. And some of it is incorporated in our white paper on migration. I'm glad you had a discussion with Nzuza. I heard him on some of the aspects. Some of the issues relate to the push and pull factors, the root causes of migration, including issues of first country, of safety, and so forth, which are part of international migration law. And then as you look in our country, the challenge that we do have is that the aspect of irregular migration, we are one of the highest receiving countries, particularly of economic migrants. So all these protocols direct how such should be handled. So the envoys will be engaging with the other member states of the AU and of SADC in relations to also our responsibility, but also in relations to the responsibilities of those countries.
Yeah. And what one of the things Deputy Minister Nzuza mentioned is that the bills for deportation will now be sent to the embassies. Is this something the various governments on the continent have agreed to, or is that a conversation that's still underway?
It is part of some of those aspects of the treaties or the protocols I have referred to. And that will also be a conversation that our governments will have to have with some of these countries. I mean, for example, Ghana has brought or hired an aircraft to South Africa to carry some of their nationals. And Home Affairs has been doing this for years. Such bills should be sent to those countries. And all that. So all these issues have to be ironed out, be engaged. But the more broader issue, Clement, is the key issue of regional integration, because we are dealing, in particular, on the southern tip, South Africa, we are dealing more on economic migration. What becomes our role as the most industrialized country to support economic growth in all these countries in terms of our investments, in terms of our companies, playing a role to grow the economy in Mozambique, in Zimbabwe, in Malawi, in Ghana, and all parts of the continent. Okay. But also reciprocal also from them, so that the economic reciprocity enables the dynamism that comes with migration, that is regular, that helps economies to grow.
Yeah. Ronald Lamola, Minister of International Relations, thank you for joining us. After the break, I'll bring in Jacinta Ngobeze Zuma, who's the leader of March and March, to ask if they're satisfied with these interventions the president has announced, or if that March 30th deadline is still on the cards.
In a day that changed an entire nation's history,
you are now ordered to disperse.
Tens of thousands of young people rose up against oppression and shouted freedom.
This historically defining moment echoed throughout the country and across the globe.
And now, in honor of this immense courage,
June 16 will forever be known as Youth Day.
This Youth Month, 702, commemorates the youth of yesterday and celebrates the youth of today.
Let's walk the talk.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
Across Africa, businesses are embracing the power of cloud solutions, and DigiCloud Africa is leading the way. As Google's chosen reseller enablement partner for Africa, we are committed to growing the Google Cloud Partner Network across the continent. We lead with our partners, actively empowering them through continuous enablement and training to deliver transformative Google Cloud solutions. Organizations looking to partner with Google Cloud experts or resellers wanting to partner with DigiCloud Africa can contact info@digicloud.africa. If you're thinking Google Cloud, think DigiCloud Africa.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient, back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Day 42 in my new kitchen. I'm currently staring at the seamless handle profiles and integrated LED lighting of this masterpiece of modern architecture. My husband thinks I'm making a sandwich, but I'm just running my hands along the porcelain countertops for the 10th time today. I've even started speaking exclusively in a British accent to match the opulence. For a bespoke culinary space, visit Moremi Kitchens today at moremikitchens.co.za.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On the next Money Show, we unpack Omnia Holdings' latest annual results and what's driving their performance. We also dive into new data from Nielsen IQ, showing surprisingly strong momentum in South Africa's retail sector. Our business book review, Bronwyn Williams, Trends Translator at Flux Trends, joining us to discuss her book of the week. And as always, we'll bring you sharp expert analysis of the biggest business stories shaping your world.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Rewards. Get double cash back depending on your rewards tier when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026, courtesy of Visa. Use your Absa Visa card at rewards partners on match days to score. Join Absa Rewards on the banking app. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Your voice.
Your questions.
Your morning radio with Clement Manyathela.
This is 702.
All right, so we've heard from the Minister of International Relations. We've heard from the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs. Let's now hear from Jacinta Ngobeze Zuma, who's the leader of Much and Much, joining us on the line. Jacinta, thank you so much for making time for us. Are you satisfied as Much and Much, given what the President has announced as interventions? Hello, Jacinta?
Sorry. Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right. I was asking if you are satisfied as Much and
I heard
Much.
your question.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry. No, I think we are satisfied with him acknowledging the problem. I think that's as far as our satisfaction goes. However, we do see a lot of issues with the things that he gave as solutions to solving the problem, because for anyone who's complexities of what it entails to actually solve it. So some of the things that the president has said seem practical when you hear them, but impractical based on the capacity that the Home Affairs Department currently has. And we're aware that they don't have the capacity to pull through even 80% of the things that he mentioned last night.
So where does this leave then you as Much and Much? Will you still continue with your campaign, or will you give space to government to have these interventions implemented so we can start seeing, hopefully, some changes in how immigration is handled in this country?
I think we've given the president years to solve the issue, Clement. Remember, people like Operation Tutula have been doing this for years. It's not a new thing, this immigration crisis that we're facing. And instead of it getting better, it gets worse every single time government promises to do something and they actually don't. So we know that if we were to let it go right now, the problem will never, ever be solved. And that's why we find ourselves being here. You know, what we would have appreciated is for the president to actually take time and try to understand the problem. That would have made things a lot easier for us, because we would know that we're dealing with a president who's already at least taken the problem as serious as it is. But from what he's saying, for example, with he's going to increase people going and doing investigations, or I don't know what was the correct word that he used. Yes, inspectors. But it's not possible currently to do that with 800 immigration officers in the entire country. It's impossible. They can't do it even if they want to. They don't have enough modes of transport to transport people even out of the country. They don't have enough resources even to take people to neighboring countries. How much more when you're talking about Ethiopians, Somalians? And we were hoping he's going to tell us about what's going to happen by securing the border first, And then how does he deal with the immigrants that are here in the country legally already? How is he going to deal with the SIU report that says that a lot of documents in the country are already at the wrong hands? Those are the solutions that we were looking for.
Yeah. Jacinda Gobeza Zuma, leader of Much and Much. Thanks for your time. It's 10:32. So good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Hawks officer Joseph Sebola has returned to the Matlanga Commission to continue with his testimony on a major drug bust in Gauteng. In July 2021, police confiscated 751 kilograms of cocaine from a truck in the south of Johannesburg. Last time Sebola was at the commission, he testified that he arrested 2 police officers on suspicion they were trying to steal the drugs. Government strategist Chris Kanyane has weighed in on President Ramaphosa's speech on immigration issues. Kanyane says while the president highlighted the challenges that South Africans face daily, he's also emphasized that the broader factors driving migration must be addressed. Ramaphosa also pointed out that migration should be a matter of choice rather than a result of desperation, stressing the need to create conditions that allow people to thrive in their home countries. And Israel and Iran have exchanged attacks today for the first time since a ceasefire in the Middle East war took effect 2 months ago. The escalations come despite U.S. President Donald Trump calling for restraint. The flare-up, which also drew in other countries in the region, saw Israel striking Iran after the Islamic Republic targeted it in vengeance for an airstrike on Beirut's southern suburbs, where a proxy Hezbollah holds sway. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, we've got delays on Sunning Hill on the N1 North right as you approach the Baku interchange. Delays coming out of Rivonia Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between Marlborough Drive and the Baku interchange. Please be on the lookout there. While heading towards Harton, we've got an accident on the M1 South. It happened right after the Kilani Bends. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. There's also queuing traffic on the M2 West approaching Main Reef Road. That's as you head towards Mayfair. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring the Development Bank of South Africa. Their Chief Internal Auditor, Boitumelo Mojapelo, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. Join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
It was actually a flawless process.
It definitely pays to switch.
I wish we had done it sooner.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know, when you claim, your excess is a fixed amount, not a percentage of the claim. For beauty salons, convenience stores, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
From the people who know FICA best, Encino KYC invites you to the 2026 Fighting Financial Crime Conference. Join top prosecutors, investigators, and compliance leaders for a day of real-world case studies, practical strategies, and powerful networking. 24th of June in Johannesburg, and tickets are on sale now. Simply Google Encino Fighting Financial Crime. That's NCINO. Proudly brought to you by Encino KYC. Fighting financial crime isn't just talk, it's what we do every day.
You've taken your small business far. Nedbank and 702 can help you take it even further.
How important is it that a campaign like Nedbank Business Ignite recognizes not only entrepreneurs, but people who solve problems?
It is important because being an entrepreneur can be a lonely journey. You go through a lot of challenges, and when you do have those victories, there's no one to recognize you. This competition definitely does that. And what we're doing differently this year, we actually decided to touch base with our past winners to find out what they've done since winning the competition. I mean, my mind was blown in terms of what these guys have achieved.
Nedbank Business Ignite with 702. Enter now on primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za and you could win 200,000 Rand. T's and C's apply. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
And now,
It's back to Clement Manyathela.
this is 702.
23 minutes before 11 o'clock. So last week we started a series looking at Johannesburg entities because I feel we don't talk about or understand all of them fully, but they're key for implementing service delivery in the city. So there are certain agencies we don't hear much about, and I often wonder, what are they responsible for? Are they really a catalyst for service delivery in the city? How functional and stable are they, and who's running them? So last week we started by looking at the Johannesburg City Parks and Zoo, and today we're focusing our attention on the Johannesburg Property Company, which is the only entity mandated to manage the city's diverse property portfolio. It was established to manage, develop, and leverage the city's property assets for maximum social, economic, and financial returns. If I'm not mistaken, I think the portfolio, they've got about approximately 29,000 properties covering about 39,000 hectares across 7 municipal regions. But it's had many challenges and equally many successes. Right? It's been working to prioritize the restoration of neglected civic buildings, like even the Randburg City Centre, and it's focused its attention on historically significant but underserved areas like Kliptown. At the same time, there are urgent challenges that remain, like hijacked buildings. I mean, we still have a housing backlog in this country, in this city, constrained budgets, and of course, scrutiny over expensive private sector property leases as the JPC's own metro lies abandoned. So we've invited now Musawake Makunga, who's the Chief Executive Officer at the Johannesburg Property Company, to talk to us more about the work of this agency. Thank you so much for making time for us, Musa. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to your listeners. Thank you for inviting us.
So if someone is listening and is thinking, oh, Johannesburg Property Company, I've never even heard of them as an agency of the city of Johannesburg, why does this agency matter to every resident in the city?
Yeah. No, thanks again. The Joburg Property Company, JPC, as you are known, I think you've highlighted in your opening, we're municipal-owned, wholly owned by the city of Johannesburg. Obviously, we are mandated to manage, amongst other things, the property portfolio of the city of Johannesburg, which I think you've already touched on in terms of the size. We also do development facilitation, we do leasing, and we really optimize and protect the city's property portfolio. And amongst others, we are big on asset management on behalf of the city of Johannesburg. We've got a number of property development, which I think if we touch on, sometimes when we indicate what sort of developments we've done in the townships, in the corridors of, in the TODs, in the inner cities, amongst those. We also are the internal facilities manager of the city of Johannesburg, where we provide not to private sector, but only to the city of Johannesburg, a component of facilities management. And one of those that we also do is the issue of leasing of properties, and also we do the outdoor advertising portfolio on behalf of the city. So we're quite the property arm of the city of Johannesburg, the asset manager of the city of Johannesburg, which means we work very close with other departments. As you've highlighted, where the City Parks and Zoo will allocate a piece of land for them to execute their mandate. Same thing with human settlements. If they need to deliver on their mandate, we are the people that are looking at everything that is on land on behalf of the city of Johannesburg.
Yeah. How are you reforming your oversight of these city-owned buildings? Because you've had a number of challenges. I mean, let's take hijacked buildings, for instance. Many of us remember what happened at the Usindiso building. And we've, of course, been waiting for even accountability on that front. But based on what we have seen as incidents that have been devastating at times as a result of these hijacked buildings, how effective has this agency been in addressing this crisis?
Yeah, look, the issue of hijacked buildings is a multidisciplinary issue that we deal with holistically as a city of Johannesburg. That is why we work very close with the bylaw element of the JMPD, because we are not law enforcement as a JPC. Ours is to really use the asset, to leverage the asset of the city of Johannesburg to ensure that we attract and package and attract investors back into the inner city. So in terms of the hijacked buildings, we've done a number of exercises in ensuring first to understand where this hijacked building is coming from. And indeed, our mandate as a JPC is on the city-owned properties. So if you look at the inner city holistically, there's a number of hijacked buildings that are privately owned, and that's why we've taken a stance from our side to say we need to engage as well the private owners or the private property owners in the city of Johannesburg so they can leverage with us in ensuring that we package and we really address the issue of the hijacked and abandoned buildings which are causing a nuisance in the city and really chasing away investors, amongst other things. So what we've done really from our side over time, we did go out and release some of the properties that are city-owned, but we realized that in a number of about over 500 properties, the city only owes about 10% of that, which is about 40-something properties in the inner city. But that's really the biggest challenge is coming from private sector, amongst others. So working with the office of the city manager, we are now at quite advanced stages because a number of property owners actually will have come forward to us and say that the buildings are hijacked, they cannot pay for services, they are not in control of their building, and that's when we come in and ensure that we give back control. We then enter into agreements with them where they will then commit financially to actually turn around the city of Johannesburg. So in a nutshell, I'm saying that the impact that we needs us to work very close with private sector to address the issue of housing backlog, the affordable housing that we need in the city, and ensure that all other services amongst those obvious that are also delivered by other entities like Joburg Water, Power, to ensure that the infrastructure then supports the type of development. Because a number of these buildings are being converted from offices to residential, which then means we must actually look into the services available to deal with those issues. So, yes, the inner city, and when I say inner city, I don't just mean CBD Joburg. We're also looking at Randburg to revitalize. You were talking about Kliptown. We are looking at Waterport amongst those, Midrand. So all these former cities that have been now prone to buildings being hijacked, the crime that is happening there. So we've got this multidisciplinary team that we actually challenge and address these issues with the team. Yeah.
Do you have enough resources to carry out this responsibility? Because many of the agencies complain about budget constraints, which is really a constant theme across all these entities. So how does the JPC then manage these nearly 29,000 properties without adequate resources? And what are the consequences when things fall through the cracks?
Yeah, look, it is quite a challenge to have so many assets to manage on behalf of the city of Johannesburg. I mean, if you do a benchmark in terms of what private sector will allocate as resources to then really manage such properties, you'll see that we're nowhere close to best practice. However, as a JPC, we are also mandated to ensure that we partner with private sector. That is why a lot of what we're trying to do to ensure that we don't have these properties getting hijacked going forward. We package and we package the properties and ask for private sector to come and partner with the city. And that's one of the areas that we've done very well. We've got a number of developments that are out there, your Newtown Mall, your West Bank, if you know, around here in Deep Kloof, the two malls in Alexandra. So we've got some exciting developments where we see money coming into the city, but the asset is well managed. But we also have those that are a challenge for us, which we really are looking at that throughout, which will be your smaller leases. And we're partnering with private sector to actually put these properties on lease so that they don't become dumping sites, they don't become a nuisance to the public at large, and come up with a strategy in terms of how do we safeguard those properties in the short run with the limited resources. So in a nutshell, we don't have enough resources. I mean, from a structure perspective now, since I came in, the analysis shows that we've got a vacancy rate of about 50%.
Jeez.
And we have to work within that and ensure that we try and stretch the little resources, from a human capital perspective, because we also do the cleaning for the entire city in the BRT stations that you see opening. So those are some of the resources that we also have to deploy. And so really we're looking at innovative ways of trying to partner with the private sector to close the gaps that we have. And I'm not even going to go to budget constraints from a financial perspective, because that I think something that is known that I think as a city we do have that gap, which is why we've focused on our portfolio from our side, and we said which portfolio that can really assist the city to contribute. And one of those that we've turned around in a short space of time is the outdoor advertising, which the city was losing a lot of money, and we are seeing some positive coming in. And we are hoping those resources will then be plowed back meaningfully to assist us to undertake and carry our mandate.
All right, it's going up to 12 minutes now before 11 o'clock. I'm going to take a quick ad break, Musa. When we come back, I'd like to give some of our listeners an opportunity to weigh in and maybe ask some questions if there's any. So if you've got questions for the Chief Executive Officer at the Johannesburg Property Company, you can give us a call, 011-883-0702. This is an entity that is established to manage, to develop and leverage the city's property assets so that there can be some social value, economic value, financial returns. And what have you picked up about the work of the Johannesburg Property Company? Any concerns you have? Any questions you have? Bring them up. Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. I'll start with them after the break.
If you're CEO or CFO looking to grow across Africa, then the next 60 seconds are for you. Because in that short time, one bank in Africa will process over 300 million rand. That's 430 billion rand every day. Right now, we have 17.7 trillion rand of the continent's assets under custody management, making us far and away the largest bank by assets in Africa. Which is why in 2025, we were voted Best Bank for Corporates in Africa at the Euro Money Awards for Excellence. So, if you're looking for a bank with scale, we're easy to find. We're in 21 key markets across Africa, and we've been on the continent for 163 years, so we are not going anywhere. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Start the year with We Buy Cars. Selling your vehicle, they'll come to you, handle everything, and pay you instantly. Simply visit webuycars.co.za and complete the form to discover what they'll offer you. Need a new ride for the new year? Browse thousands of options online or at any We Buy Cars branch nationally. We Buy Cars. Buy or sell the simple way.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now, save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
My name is Richard Sutton, and I'm the host of the podcast Shift Happens. This podcast is about you. About transformation, elevation, and becoming the best version of yourself. Each episode shares powerful, hard-won lessons from prominent South Africans who have faced doubt, change, and early failure and emerged transformed. Don't miss Shift Happens, the tools, insight, and skills to help you navigate the real realities of life. Now streaming on primemediaplus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes before 11 o'clock. Let's give you an opportunity to ask the Chief Executive Officer, Musa Wake Makunga, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Johannesburg Property Company. I want to give you some opportunity now to weigh in. Maybe if you've got concerns, things you want them to pay attention to, or you've got questions. 011-883-0702. Let's start with your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702.
Good morning, Clement and listeners. I'd just like to ask the gentleman there to explain as to how it is that they've signed a 10-year lease in the Newtown precinct. 10-year lease. when they have so many properties that they could be refurbishing and utilizing? Case in point is the Braamfontein precinct. How do you justify a 10-year lease?
Thank you so much for your question. Musa?
No, thank you. Maybe let me just give a bit of context in terms of what will have happened that led us to move to the Newtown precinct. The Metro Center building was then closed following a council resolution, I think in 2023, where the building was not fit for purpose. And I think it's one of those challenges as a city that we faced, where we had not yet invested in our own buildings in ensuring that we keep them at a state that is fit for the over 3,000 employees that were sitting there. The Newtown precinct, which is where we've got a lease now, this is one of our development of the city of Johannesburg. So contrary to what maybe is out there, is that the city made this piece of land available to a developer on a 50-year lease, and it created what we know as a new town, where there was offices, a mixed-use development offices. It's got a hotel, it's got the retail component of that. So when the Metro Center was closed, we then looked into that agreement, where we then amended the agreement that we have with the developer, so that we can be allowed space for us to actually use the office site. I think when Nedbank moved, we then took that opportunity to ensure that for continuity, whilst we was raising money to actually redevelop Metro Center, which I think it's coming to about 2 billion. We have registered a triple P with National Treasury, which is currently ongoing. But in terms of redevelopment and refurbishment of Metro Center, it will take over 5 years. And I think that's why the agreement was then entered for that period of 9-11 to allow no disruption and ensure that we then rebuild the Metro Center and put additional offices, because it's not just a refurbishment, but it's actually a redevelopment of the Metro Center in line with office space optimization, so that it can actually move away, so the city can move away totally from all the rented offices and use its precinct. So it's a strategy that I think for some time was not yet implemented, but we had to make sure that we have to move people back into one precinct. So the whole thinking is that when everyone is back at Metro Center, Joburg Water should be there, City Power should be there. So all services of the city must come to the core for us to deal with that. But we must be realistic that whilst all that development will be happening through a triple P, we must be housed somewhere at this point in time. And we looked into one of our development to actually be housed in that one.
Okay, here's another one.
Good morning, Clement. You know, in the city of Joburg, there's a lot of government-owned buildings, particularly if you go around Marshalltown. Some of them are abandoned. There's a building just on Simmons and Fox or Simmons on Main. It was, I think, the Premier's office or something like that. That building has been abandoned for years. So what is the plan to actually get those buildings up and running? Because you get government departments renting buildings while they've got buildings in the CBD. So I would like to know, what is the plans with those? What is the progress, and what will they do with those abandoned buildings owned by government?
Well, thank you so much for that question. And Musa, I must say we're getting a lot of questions about the Metro Center as well, which has really been abandoned and decaying. So what are you doing about that?
Yeah. Okay. Let me start with the one, because JPC, Joburg Property Company, our mandate is only limited to properties that will be city owned. However, from a revitalization perspective, through IGR, we do engage other spheres of government, so that at least as a government, there are plans to actually revitalize those areas. So the building in particular, if it's under the Premier, we will not be necessarily directly dealing with it, but as part of our precinct approach, when we get to that area, we'll have to see, because it is partially in the city of Johannesburg, and it should contribute to the cleanliness and the vibrancy of the city of Johannesburg. So we'll engage it from that perspective, similar to private sector. And there are plans. I know that province and national also has plans in ensuring that I think generally as a government we have to move away from renting office space and using our own buildings and really channeling the funds to ensure that we upkeep our buildings to be at a good state. And I think if I link that, Clement, to the issue of Metro Center, there were studies that were done at Metro Center some time ago in terms of the condition, and there were options that the city actually was presented with, which was a major refurbishment. And I think at the time, from the reports that we see, it was coming to about 800 million. And the city, it looked at its own coffers and realized that it does not have the 800 million to actually fix the building. Metro Center is a building I think was constructed around in the early 70s, and it has never had a major refurbishment to keep it at the level that it's supposed to be, to a point that the entire electrical system, and at some point, I think you recall, Clement, that it did catch fire, the section of it. So you could not get a certificate of occupancy, and you could not put the employees at risk where, as the city, we've not kept the building where it's supposed to be. So we took a precautionary measure to say, let's move people out, but then it will then leave the space for us to actually deal with the building properly. And that's what we've done. We've secured it. There's one component that is working, which is a council chamber that was built in 2016, but the other sides are actually the ones that were repackaging with National Treasury now.
Yeah, all right. Musawake Makunga, we're out of time. Thank you, though, for making time to chat to us this morning. He's the Chief Executive Officer at the Johannesburg Property Company.
Mzansi, Akwele asked, and you chose. The brand new delicious mango sparkling flavor is here. And now, it's time to win. Akwele is giving away grocery vouchers and airtime every day. Plus, you could win one of 2 Suzuki Swift cars. To enter, get your Akwele Mzansi Mango in store and find the unique code under the cap. Sunshine, joy, and refreshment in a bottle. That's the new Akwele Mzansi Mango. T's and C's apply.
702 Josie, my Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people on Sunday, the 26th of July, Babize Bonke. And this year, you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 15-kilometer Mandela Bridge route takes you from Ellis Park through town, up and through the Constitution Hill precinct, down to Bramfontein, over Mandela Bridge, then it's through Newtown and past the Market Theatre and back to Ellis Park. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 rand in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We begin on Gauteng's Isrand, where hundreds of protesters are rejecting President Cyril Ramaphosa's call for calm, demanding swifter deportation of undocumented immigrants. Ramaphosa addressed the nation last night, saying dealing with immigration remains solely a function of the states and its institutions. International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says government is working with other African countries to fund deportations and facilitate voluntary returns. citizens. But in Guatemala, where the anti-illegal migration march is underway, residents have told EWN that they don't support the president's proposed solutions and want people found to be in the country illegally removed immediately. While Ramaphosa has stressed that lawlessness will not be tolerated, many there say they want immediate action, not further consultations with other countries. Police continue to monitor the demonstrations, which have remained peaceful. We cross now live to Mongezi Koko in Guatemala. Mongezi, what has the situation been like since you arrived there this morning?
Good morning, Swiso. Well, the anti-illegal immigration march led by civic organization leader Ngizwe Mkunu alongside Nkosi Khona Ndabandaba, popularly known as Phakelung Thakati, has been welcomed by some of the residents who live along this route. Now, as you've previously mentioned, several who are in attendance have told Eyewitness News that they do not support the president's proposed solutions, saying that government needs to move faster. Now, Ramaphosa did stress that lawlessness will not be tolerated, this ahead of the June 30th deadline for all undocumented persons to leave the country. Now, Ramaphosa did reiterate that SAPS, along with provincial and national NAT joints, will remain on standby and on high alert to ensure that law and order is maintained. For now, the peaceful protesters continue from Guatemala, heading all the way to Springs. I'll continue to give you live and rolling updates as the situation continues to unfold. Mongi Ziko, Eyewitness News, reporting live in Guatemala.
Meanwhile, government strategist Chris Kanyane has weighed in on the president's speech on immigration. Kanyane says while the president highlighted the challenges that South Africans face on a daily basis, he also emphasized the broader factors driving migration must be addressed. Ramaphosa also pointed out that migration should be a matter of choice rather than a result of desperation, stressing the need to create conditions that allow people to thrive in their home countries. Kanyane says the immigration of African citizens from their countries is a sign of a much deeper underlying problem.
All of us know about the problems in Zimbabwe and other countries. People leave those countries not out of interest, not of desire, but they feel pressed. Those are the push factors. Those are the deeper problems that we must address. Saying South Africans are xenophobic when they feel the pain on the ground and you are not part of these people.
Hawks officer Joseph Sibola has returned to the Madlanga Commission to continue with his testimony on a major drug bust in Gauteng. In July 2021, police confiscated 751 kilograms of cocaine, and this was from a truck in the south of Johannesburg. Last time Sibola was at the commission, he testified that he arrested 2 police officers on suspicion they were trying to steal the drugs. Previous witnesses have testified at the commission over how the drug bust was riddled with irregularities by police officers who were involved. Alleged underworld fixer Ziad Pool is expected back in the witness stand at the Western Cape High Court today for cross-examination in Nafis Modek's trial. The state case against Pool is gaining momentum after prosecutors last week used cell phone evidence to challenge his version of events related to the charges he faces. Pool faces charges for allegedly assisting Modek in planning several murders, including the assassination of top cop police officer Charles Kinnear. Carlo Peterson reports.
Ziad Pool is under pressure after being confronted with evidence that appears to contradict his version of events. The state argues Pool gave inconsistent testimony about a meeting with co-accused Amal Janchis in November 2019. Pool allegedly paid Janchis 10,000 rand to gather information on anti-gang unit operations and help plan an attack on slain top cop Charles Kinnear on behalf of Nafis Modek. Prosecutors say records from Janchis' phone place her in contact with Modek during that meeting, undermining Pool's claim he was not acting on Modek's instructions. The trial continues today. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And Israel and Iran have exchanged attacks today for the first time since a ceasefire in the Middle East war took effect 2 months ago. The escalations come despite U.S. President Donald Trump calling for restraint. The flare-up, which also drew in other countries in the region, saw Israel striking Iran after the Islamic Republic targeted it in vengeance of an airstrike on Beirut's southern suburbs where its proxy Hezbollah holds sway. It followed weeks of negotiations seeking to bring about a definite end to the regional war sparked by the U.S. and Israel on Iran on February 28th. No casualties have been reported so far in either Israel or Iran. The attacks included a strike on an Iranian petrochemical complex and a missile attack on Israel by Yemen Houthi rebels. The Israeli military says it struck and dismantled Iranian defense systems deployed across several areas in the country. Gold is trading at $4,297.40 an ounce. The rand is at 16.64 to the dollar, 22.17 to the pound, 19.17 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.55 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 South in the Houghton area. This is due to an accident right after Houghton Drive. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N3 North in the Bedfordview area between Van Buren Road and the Gilulis interchange.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 22 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Hundreds of protesters have gathered on the East Rand and they're rejecting President Cyril Ramaphosa's call for calm, demanding swift deportation of undocumented immigrants.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
It's 9 minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. It's time for our Family Matters feature.
702.
Family Matters.
So I want to ask you a question this morning. What are the things that your guardians or parents said to you when you were a child that somehow still continue to resonate with you today? Or they sort of shaped the kind of person you became later in life? I'm asking this question because sometimes parents say words, negative or positive, that shape their children and their children's internal voices. And maybe you're not a child now, but you see how you have been shaped by what was constantly the messaging from your guardians, from your teachers, from your parents when you were still young. And I want to know what those comments have meant to you and how they've impacted you. I was watching the Michael Jackson documentary over the weekend, and I went to watch Michael, the movie, last night. And I also watched Oprah Winfrey's interview yesterday with Michael Jackson, the very famous interview when Oprah went to visit his house and they had a long chat. And I think it stayed with me, this issue of what happens when we're still young and what our parents are saying to us. But Michael Jackson's dad used to tell him, you've got a big nose, and used to tell him he's ugly. And what that meant was Michael Jackson was so insecure for most of his life. And that's why he ended up going to do surgery on his nose. In fact, it was the first surgery, actually, that he ever did, if I'm not mistaken. But you see, the dad used to say these nasty things to him when he was still young. And even as an adult, he still felt so insecure and uncomfortable to a point that he decided to go and do a surgery. Just because dad has always said, I look ugly and I've got a big nose. So I'm not sure we realize how over time the words that children repeatedly hear from us as their guardians, as their parents, as their teachers, as their caregivers, and other influential adults, how that can become their inner voice. That silent narrator that guides how they think about themselves. Because the messages we repeatedly communicate, whether that's positive or negative, can become the beliefs that children carry about themselves for years to come. I mean, when a child repeatedly hears criticism, or they are constantly hearing comparisons or labels, they end up internalizing those messages as truths. But equally so, when a child hears encouragement and messages of acceptance and affirmation, they also develop resilience. They develop confidence and a much stronger sense of self-worth. But every single child carries a voice inside their head that encourages them when life gets tough, that comforts them when they fail, that shapes how they see themselves and their place in the world. And that dialogue is often formed by the words that they hear most from parents, from their teachers, from their caregivers. So I want to know from you this morning, what is your child hearing when you speak? How intentional are you about what you say to your child, even in a moment of anger? Because it's often in moments of anger where the negative messaging comes through. So how intentional are you that even when you're angry or disappointed by your child, you don't end up saying things that may very well shape the adult that they become in a toxic way? Like, is it positive? Is it affirming what you share with your children? Or is it negative? So how mindful are you with your words when interacting with your kids? That's the first question I'm asking you. And the second question is, how did the words that were said about or to you as a child shape your inner dialogue? We've all had stuff said to us by our teachers when we were young, or by our parents, or by the elders in the family, the caregivers. How did that shape the person that you are today? Share your experiences with us on 011 883 0702. You can send your WhatsApps on 072 702 1702. Nkateko Ndala Makoro is a counseling psychologist and founder of Well Life Hub, who's going to be guiding us through this conversation. Nkateko, thank you for making time. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to the 702 listeners.
So let's maybe start with what your observation has been around parenting of late. Do you get a sense that there's an appreciation of the consequences of the words, the things we say to children? And we may think in the moment that we're just disciplining them, but I'm just wondering, in your observation, is there an understanding of the consequences of what we say, negative or positive, to our children, and how that shapes who they become later on in life?
Many times parents say things without the intentionality that you already mentioned at the beginning when you were introducing the topic, Clement. They just speak, and most of the time they will speak either from their own wounding or from their healed self. So it will be a repetition of what they also received, and they thinking, okay, it has toughened us up, it disciplined us, it means it works. Or a parent who then says, no, this is the love that I received from my family, and it was in words. I had it not just in actions, but also I had it in words. They are more likely, but we also need to raise intentional parents. I often encourage people to resolve to use their words to heal. So every conversation with a child is an opportunity to either reinforce, as mentioned, the wounds or reinforce the healing. So our words can become either a safe space where children learn courage and the confidence that you were talking about, and the self-worth and the resilience, or they can be quite opposite, where then they break an individual, a child in our care.
So at what age, though, do children begin internalizing these messages from their parents and caregivers? Because I was trying to remember when I was young, like the things that maybe a parent said in a moment of anger. In the moment, I just thought, it's part of discipline. But it's only when you are now becoming an adult and you are, self-introspecting and you're looking at your attachment styles and you realize that, hold on, there's a link here between how I attach, how I behave with what I was constantly told as a child. And it's so interesting to me that in a moment when that messaging happens, whether positive or negative, you see it as, it's just discipline, or, okay, my mom or dad is encouraging me. But much later, when you're an adult, you start seeing the consequences of that, good or bad.
Sure. Clement, you're asking the question at what age? As young as a child can hear the verbal interaction. I mean, even from the non-verbal, the child can already pick up. So children first hear who they are from people who raise them, long before the world tells them their values. The home environment is teaching them to either believe in themselves, be it that it is you are aware that those words are negative or not. The question is then, is our voices, or are our voices helping our children to build them inside, or are they just breaking them down? So hearing something, and maybe a passage from scripture, it says, I think faith comes from hearing. And that shows us that the repeatedness. So if it's once off, yes, maybe it might be dismissed as, okay, that was discipline, or I can see that my mother or my father was in a bad mood. But if it is repeated, what the child hears, they start internalizing that as their own identity. So you are bad versus what you did is not good. So what you did is bad versus you are bad. So you are bad is an identity, and what you did is not good. It's a correction. It's a discipline. So when we hear all of this, we internalize it, whether we perceive it as good or bad.
Yeah. So, because I'm just trying to remember here, it's not just from the parents and our caregivers, like where we hear these messages, whether it's the negative comments, bad things being said about you, what you look like, how you speak, but that can come from also our peers, right? Or strangers. I mean, you know how nasty young children can be to each other when they joke about, things that may be sensitive for the next person. So why are the words of our parents, our caregivers, and even teachers often more powerful than those of our peers or just random strangers?
Sorry, Clement, I'm battling to hear you. The line is quite choppy, but I will try to respond. I think you were talking about the influence, or the words not only from home, but also from an extension. So the social media, teachers, coaches, friends, siblings. And what I want to also differentiate is where the child spends most of their time and what shapes them. What is the bigger influence in their lives? So if social media is their bigger influence, or they care mostly about what their friends are saying or what their teachers are saying, that is going to be, it's going to carry the same weight as the parents. But if they are repeatedly hearing the same thing from their parents, it's also going to negate whatever good things that they are hearing from their peers, their coaches, and teachers. So what is the emphasis here? The emphasis is the repeated messaging. And this is an example, it's a personal example. I used to be called Muntu Blue, and we laugh about it, or I laugh about it because it does not hold weight anymore. And I used to be called that speaking school because of where we grew up in Atteridgeville, and because the children knew that I was a Tsonga speaking individual, they will then highlight the fact that I'm darker than any other person, even though I was not. But so those words did not hold weight because of how I was treated at home. How I was treated at home, I was treated equally. My other sisters are very light skinned, and it never became an issue because of how the words and the messaging that I got from my own parents that then negated how I was bullied at school. So that then did not become an issue for me.
Yeah. And then it leads me to this question then about how cautious we need to be as parents, as teachers, as caregivers, because many teenagers struggle with aspects. That's what I mean to say. They struggle with accepting aspects of themselves, whether it's their appearance, and whether it's their skin, their weight, or even academic abilities. So why do adults need to be particularly mindful at this particular age?
This is a time when the shaping and the forming happens. A child does not shape or form outside of, so they borrow their self-concept and understanding of themselves from adults around them. So before they develop a stable sense of themselves, they rely on parents, caregivers, teachers, and any other significant adults to tell them who they are. So what they then take on as their self-worth is what is voiced from the adults around their lives.
All right, 23 minutes after 11 o'clock. Let's bring in some experiences, some questions from our listeners. And maybe you are a parent that sometimes says nasty things towards your little ones, and you're trying to figure out a way you can, even in your moment of anger and disappointment, still maintain calm and not say things that you will regret much later or that will end up shaping negatively your own child. Or maybe you want some advice on how to be more encouraging and affirming to your children. You can give us a call on 011-883-0702, or maybe you want to share your experience of how you were raised. Were you said nasty things to? Were you encouraged and affirmed as a child? And what did that culminate into when you became an adult? Lehlongonole, let's start with you. You're calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and great show as always.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to weigh in on this topic. So I'm the oldest grandchild in my family, and when I was growing up, around about age 4, my aunt, who didn't have kids then, would say to me, you're going to grow up worthless, you're going to be ugly, or you're ugly rather, you're going to be shapeless, and all those elements. And these are words that have continued to linger even in my adulthood. I'm 37 years old now. But amidst of all of that, the funny thing is, it still lingers in my subconscious, but I can see that I'm not shapeless, I'm not ugly. I've actually gone on to do so well, and that's with all humility. But the question also that begs this conversation is, could it be that my continuous performance, because I've never stopped studying since creche till my doctorate level. I've changed roles at the moment. I sit as a chief economist, so I'm in the C-suite. I mean, in my 30s as well. Could it be that my constant strides is a wrestle against the words that were actually meant to limit me? Because other kids actually excel naturally because they're encouraged. But I think for me, in my subconscious, it's that fight to say, I don't want to be what she said I'm going to turn out to be. But you don't realize the weight that even when you walk into these boardrooms, people say you inspire me, you're doing well. It's difficult to accept the compliments because your home base that was meant to nurture you has actually said you won't end up anywhere. So you're constantly wrestling against the fear of actually living up to those words. So these are some of the elements as well that you find that juxtaposition in you as an individual. What actually am I living towards? Is it a fight or is it a genuine stride and achievement as you grow in life? So I thought it's good to weigh in on the conversation.
Oh, Lehlongonolo, you've just touched on such important things there. Thank you so much. What a great contribution. Maybe that's the reason why some of us even struggle to take compliments. Huh? Maybe that's the reason that some of us are such overachievers, because you are subconsciously trying to constantly prove them wrong, or you're constantly trying to avoid being what you were told you were young when you were young that you would become. Sure. Yeah, let me, Nkateko, any response to these elements that Lehlohonolo is raising?
Sure. Yes, and I think Letonola is spot on. I'm glad that she was able to introspect. I did a video, I think about 2 weeks ago, I asked the question, who's driving the bus? Is it trauma or ambition? So, we need to distinguish between, growth-driven achievement and wound-driven achievement, where a person is asking themselves, am I enough? Or is what I have experienced something that is telling me to keep on going. So I will say to Letohonolo to sit down and look at when she's not performing, what happens to her. If she becomes overly anxious, then we know it's driven by the wound or the trauma. But if she's able to take a break, not get bent out in the process, when she's not done something good enough or to the standard of good enough, according to her, to still be able to take it in and relax. So that will be the differentiator between, is it now ambition or is it trauma-based?
Yeah. Miriam, you are in Kempton Park. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, Miriam. How are you?
I'm okay. In today's topic, Clement, growing up, I was told that several times by family members that I was ugly, and I was compared to my brother, my elder brother, and I was dark-skinned and he is lighter. That thing created a low self-esteem in me in a way that even now, as old as I am, I'm 37 years old, I still have that low self-esteem. I'm still isolating myself from family members, from family gatherings, because now I know when we all gather, I'm going to be compared to my brother, I'm going to be compared by other family members because I look different from them. You understand? So this one is even worse. I even told myself that I don't want to have kids because I don't want to have kids that will look like me and then they're going to be bullied by family members. I've got one daughter, and she's also going through the same thing because I don't know who told her that she's ugly, but she mentioned it several times, saying to me, Mom, I know that I'm ugly. I know that I'm not beautiful. So you see, she's going through the same thing that I went through, and it's painful. And then now I also try to isolate her the very same way that I isolated myself. They ask themselves that why am I not attending family gatherings and stuff. It's things like this, unfortunately.
Yeah, sure, Miriam. And I'm sorry that you've had to go through that. But again, that just demonstrates the impact for someone to even consider, should I be having kids or not? That low self-esteem just continues even when you are much older. Yeah, thank you, Miriam, in Kempton Park for sharing that with us. It's 11:30. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. When we come back, we'll continue taking more of your experiences, questions, if you have any. We're talking about these words that we constantly say to our children when they're young and how that ends up shaping who they become, how they even attach to things when they're much older. And I want to know from you, if maybe you grew up being told, and not just the negative things, right? Because there are people who were affirmed and encouraged when they were young. Like, how did that benefit you as an adult? How did that shape the women or the men that you became much later in life? Keep your stories coming on the WhatsApp line or on 011-883-0702. Bali has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Bali, I see residents of Guatemala on the streets this morning.
That's correct, Clement. A very good morning. Well, residents of Guatemala, that's in Ekurhuleni, have called for swifter action to tackle the issue of illegal migration in the country. They have taken to the streets today, just a day after President Cyril Ramaphosa called for calm as government works to address the crisis. Ramaphosa addressed the nation last night, saying dealing with illegal immigration remains a function solely reserved for the state and its institutions. Search and rescue teams have resumed efforts to locate a third victim after a crash that claimed 2 lives in Mpumalanga. The vehicle plunged into the Crocodile River near the intersection between the University of Mpumalanga and Gamagugu at the weekend. Police recovered the bodies of a man and a woman yesterday. And the Director General of the World Health Organization has arrived in Uganda, which is currently battling an Ebola outbreak. The outbreak has killed 2 people out of 19 infections in Uganda after spreading from neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. Tedros Ghebreyesus took to his X account today to announce his arrival in Uganda. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in Houghton, we've got delays on the M1 South. This is due to an earlier accident right as we come out of the Kilani Bends. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North heading towards Bedford View. This is due to roadworks right after Van Buren Road. While traveling in Amalgam, delays on the M2 West. That's between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Out in the city of Tshwane, we've got some issues along the R55 North. This is just as you approach Weirder Road. Please be on the lookout there. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
When the youth of this nation come together with purpose, incredible things happen.
This Youth Month, 702 salutes you all.
Most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now, save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
Imagine a holiday where the only thing on the to-do list is enjoy yourself. With Norwegian Cruise Line, you can sail to over 400 destinations worldwide effortlessly. Visit ncl.com for the best deals or contact your travel agent today. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here. T's and C's apply.
On Sunday, 26 July, the entire city unites for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk.
Walk the talk.
And because Joburg is more than just a city, we'll be walking for the people. So join us and help make a difference to homelessness in the city by entering on primemediaplus.com and donating vouchers.
Donate a voucher.
Which is a cashless way to give, helping people experiencing homelessness access a hot shower, a meal, a bed, or more support. Anybody can join and everybody can donate. 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter and donate now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Family Matters.
It's 25 minutes before 12, and we're doing our Family Matters feature this morning, which we do every single Monday after 11 o'clock. We talk all things that have got to do with our relations and our families. And today, we're talking about those words that were said to us when we were young. Whether they were affirming or encouraging, or whether they were toxic and telling you how ugly you are, how you'll never get married, or you were made fun of because of how you looked, because of maybe a disability you were living with, or because of maybe even your sexuality. What happened when you were a child that sort of shaped the adult that you became? We're taking your calls on 011-883-0702, WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. Gabaza, you are in Kyalami. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. Always good to speak to you. How are you?
I'm all right, Kabaza. How are you doing? Go ahead.
I'm good. Sesinkateko minjani? Is she still on the line?
Yes, she is. She is.
Yes, I am. Yikona ngobulangwina Kavaza.
Ipukile nomsheweta. I just wanted to offer something actually for those of us who are still healing through what you're talking about, Clement. I think that a lot of us overemphasize the fact parenthood as an office, and it is an office, right? Like the need to take care and raise your children. But we live in a time now where we're understanding that like parents are fundamentally human, and that they too come into parenthood with their own things that they got from the previous generation. And what we don't realize is that parenthood comes with so much power that you are literally able to dispense of all of the stuff that's inside of you, whether good or bad, onto your children. And a lot of the times you find that wherever there's sibling rivalry, or even with children who really get along, it's because the parent's sense of self is impacting the child. Do you understand? So when you have a lot of the times parents being extremely cruel, insensitive, emotionally abusive, it's because they use children to project the stuff that's inside of them onto the child.
Yeah.
And what a lot of us are doing in therapy in our 30s, with our children, is actually realizing that everything that was ever said to you that was insensitive or cruel actually had nothing to do with you. It's a lie, basically. It's not true. It's just that, if like I'm saying, when you grow up, especially with our parents who grew up during apartheid, they internalized all the stuff that had to come with being either a woman or black. And when you have children, you actually have blank canvases that you can project your issues onto. So when you have a bit of a rebellious child, you'll be like, well, now you're difficult, and then do that thing that parents do. And then when you have like the slightly obedient, nice one, you project all the parts of you that are affirming onto that child. I wanted to offer the fact that the work of therapy, then for a lot of us, is to realize that no, that your parent as a human being had just these empty repositories that they could dispense that stuff into you as children.
Got you. Kabaza and Kailami, thank you so much for your contribution. Let's go to some WhatsApps now.
Clement, it's anonymous from Pretoria. This subject really hits hard. For almost 41 years, my mother has told me that I would never amount to anything. And those words haunt me every single day. There are times when she sees me and she will say, oh, working hard to get nowhere in life. Any person can say anything to you, but when a parent says something, it sticks. It sticks and it haunts.
Clement, just to say, words really indeed play a big role. I grew up as a naughty boy, but my mom, she was always speaking good words and making sure, praying for me to be a better person. Whenever I wake up in the morning, she's the first one to touch my head and pray for me. When I come from school, she pray for me. And she used to call me my lion, my king. Wherever I am, I wanted to make my mom proud. I knew that if I do something that is not good, it won't sit well with my mother because I'm her king, and I wanted to be that king that my mom is seeing.
Good morning, Clement. My name is Tracy from Pretoria. I really like this topic. I just want to share something. The one thing I know that has helped me, I've got a 25-year-old and a 17-year-old. Throughout their lifetime, I never said any negative word to them, because words are very powerful and words stick. They are like spirits. They follow the child. You cannot tell your child, you're stupid. No, you cannot do that. Find another way. Find something else to say. Especially when we are angry, we tend to say a lot of things. You're stupid like your father. No, don't do that. Father may have been stupid, but the child cannot be. The words of our mouth are very important, so we have to be very careful with how we speak to our children. I never did, and I've seen them grow up hating those words they cannot even allow someone else to say those words to other people. So we need to check ourselves.
Sure. Yeah, Ngateko, if you want to respond to any of the comments that came up, but one thing that I think I liked from what Gabaza in Kailama was raising is also the issue of therapy, is just learning to have conversations with your children, but also as an adult, learning to separate what your elders, teachers, your parents were saying to you and understanding that it's got nothing to do with you. And some of them were just projecting towards you, projecting their own insecurities, their own concerns. How important is doing that work? Because there are some who feel, yeah, it happened and it's done, so I don't need to do any work. But and therapy, I'm not just talking about it from a traditional point of view that go see Nkateko only or go see that you look up to or who sort of advises you. How important is that work?
Yeah, it is. It is very important work because remember, and you made examples to say sometimes you look at the words that were said. It was harmless when they were said. It was for discipline, but they still stuck. So they stick in your subconscious. And the moment you speak about it, you unpack, you process, then you realize the impact of it. I do agree with what Kabasa said. Completely, in that many hurtful things said to us as children have more to do with what adults have gone through. But I want to really, really, really emphasize that it's important. As much as we understand where it came from, it does not automatically remove the impact. And that is what then we start to work through. I'm not saying that a person cannot get through it, but we need to also acknowledge the impact. Clement, I want to go back a little bit to Miriam. I think it broke my heart what Miriam said earlier on before the news headline, hearing that she did not even want children for her own because she did not want children who look like her. And, this is really a demonstration of what words can do to a person, that it makes them even reject any possibility of their reflection. So not only aspect of themselves, but even a possibility of their reflection. So, but that also does not mean, as Gabaza said, that she will be stuck forever. Her and her daughter can start to do meaningful work and being intentional. So, Miriam, I want to encourage you to be intentional with your daughter. It does not matter how long it takes. She must also see you loving yourself. She must not see you comparing yourself to your brother or other siblings and cousins. She must see you loving yourself, and you are going to be a role model on how she now accepts herself. So you cannot talk negatively about yourself in front of her. Maybe talk negatively with a trusted adult, but not in front of her. Affirm her. Be very intentional. And also the other caller that mentioned that it's still 41 years later, where her mother's words still stick and they still make an impact even in her adult life. And there we will need to draw boundaries or be assertive with mom to say, I do not appreciate it when you say this to me. Or, yes, maybe they might be fearing that the mother will retaliate, but they need to stand their ground and reinforce.
Absolutely, yeah. JJ, you are in Kempton Park. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Clement, I'm the victim of whatever cousin. I grew up in the village.
Yeah.
You know, in the village, when you are dark, you Mnyamani and all those things. It only came back to me, I think, around 2000 when I dated someone from the town, from the urban area. When I'm visiting home, she will call me and then I'll ask her questions like, what is that you miss about me? And she will say, I miss your darkness. And I ask myself questions like, why is that the same darkness that I grew up being told that?
Oh, sorry, JJ. We're struggling to hear you. I don't know if you're moving the phone, so let's try that again. But we were missing some of the things. I think we lost you when you said every time you would travel home, what happened?
So every time I travel home, she will phone me, and then I'll ask her a question like, what is that you miss about me? and she would tell you, say, I miss your darkness.
I miss your darkness.
Yes, I miss your darkness.
Hey, man.
And it will come to my mind like the same darkness that I grew up being told that I'm ugly and all that. I mean, 23 years down the line, I'm still confident about myself. I even told her when.
Oh, yeah, JJ, I'm sorry, my brother. It's not working out. The line is not good. But I think the aspects we got is you grew up in a village, you were dark, and you dated someone in the urban areas. And every time you'd go visit home and you ask her, what do you miss about me? And JJ says this person would say, I miss your darkness. And 20 years or so later, that's something that's still stuck with him. It's 13 minutes now before 12 o'clock. More of your calls and WhatsApps after the break.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts taking a dramatic step, voting to pursue criminal charges against the former CEO of the Road Accident Fund, Collins Letswalo.
We had an inquiry last year. We're busy finalizing the report now. We had an inquiry into the affairs of the Road Accident Fund. We invited him. He refused to come. We summoned him. He didn't come. So we are going to be laying charges in the next day or two.
Could he say that he never received said summons and therefore couldn't respond to them?
He gave us an address. He used to write to us from an address. We went there. The house was abandoned. We went back to his former employer, asked for an alternate address. Nobody responded to the door there, even though we were reliably informed that he actually stays there. Sheriff went there several times. We went further. We published the summons on Parliament's Facebook page, on Parliament's Twitter page, on Parliament's Instagram page. It was sent to him on SMS and it was sent to him on email, and he didn't respond.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Every great business starts with a problem. One you may have experienced yourself. Nedbank Business Ignite 2026 is looking for entrepreneurs who've turned the pain into purpose and build solutions that truly make a difference. If your business is generating between 1 million rand and 20 million rand, you could get the funding, mentorship, and support you need to grow with Nedbank as your partner, plus access to Simply Biz to help you scale sustainably. So, if you're solving real problems and ready to take your business further, visit igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com and enter today.
Your friend's cell phone just got stolen. Now they're using yours to find out if it was covered outside of their home. Turns out it wasn't. Meanwhile, Santam covers your cell phone anywhere, along with your laptop and smartwatch. Even your bicycle would be covered, if you could ride one. You insured nice, not twice. Get cover for your valuables online or call 0860 444 444 to get a quote. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and a controlling company for its group companies.
The BCCSA is calling for nominations. Do you know someone with broadcasting expertise? Nominate them to serve as a commissioner for a 4-year term starting 1 January 2026. Send a short CV and motivation to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. Nominations close 19 September 2025. Visit www.bccsa.co.za for more info.
702.
Family Matters.
10 minutes before 12 o'clock. Let's go back to your WhatsApps.
I see residents. Morning, Clement. Clement, with the words that are said that are harmful to kids, what I've done with my kids is I've made them bully-proof. They are bully-proof in such a way that you can say you've got big teeth, you have a big head, a big nose, or whatever. It doesn't affect them because I taught my child that any physical attributions that you have, those are God-given. There are certain things that you cannot change about yourself.
Yeah.
You are who you are. You are beautiful the way you are. We love you the way you are. You are our child. You're a child of God. You are loved. You will always be loved. It is not a matter of you are loved because of you look a certain way. You are loved as you are.
Hi, morning, Clement. I always tell people how proud I am for being raised by my granny, because that lady always made sure that I feel appreciated. No matter what, any family member, or maybe let's say a teacher at school or a friend when we play, whatever the negative thing that I will hear, if I tell my granny what someone said to me, she will turn that upside down and tell me something positive. So I'm glad that I don't have that kind of trauma like as old as I am right now, because now I knew that I was appreciated by the person who was close to me. So yeah.
Sure, Clemza. This is Sia here, man. Hey, nice show, nice question today. Nice question. Hey, man, Clement, my mother has been saying something to me from a young age until it started affecting me at an older age. So, no, most our black parents have this thing of saying we don't want to do anything, we just want to sit there. You know, most those words, most. So yeah, hey, those words, there came a time where they made me fall into depression, where I was trying so much. I pulled every string that I could to make sure that I don't just sit at home. But well, it still wasn't enough because there was no results, you know. So yeah, hey, I wish our parents could be careful, more careful in terms of what they say to us, whether we're young or we're old. Yeah, well, it's the little things, man. It's the little things. But yeah, I'm getting okay now, and yeah, I'm getting okay. I'm getting okay. Got some help in terms of depression, so I'm okay now. So yeah, thanks, man. Great show.
Oh man, thank you. That's good to know that you're getting there. Yo, yeah. Let me go to some of the text messages that have come through. Anonymous says, Clement, negative comments from parents or anyone close to you, be it a relative or not, plays both roles. It can demote or encourage you. Nevertheless, such comments and contributions have made me to be the first in our family's generation to pursue a master's degree. Guess what? All those who were laughing at me are following and applauding my unexpected achievement in life. And B, always find an opportunity to achieve something unique that shall be undeniable to the society. And yeah, one of our listeners raised this very issue earlier on, saying, I've become such an overachiever because it's almost like you're trying to prove them wrong. All the people who had doubts about you. Another one on the WhatsApp line says, hello, Clement. It's happening in schools. In fact, it starts in kindergarten. They play this stupid game of asking the kids who is the prettiest and seriously, what's next? Who is the ugliest? And that's where this starts. You grow up knowing you are ugly. Imagine what that does to you. Another one says, Clement, I was told by my teacher that I would never be anything of substance. I've used those words to get me through my adult life. I've built a name for myself in my professional space. I want to meet up with my teacher one day, and I just want them to see how they shaped my life, turning negative words to positive actions. Then the last message I have here is from Anonymous, who says, Clement, my father said I should never get married because I don't have patience for a man. Due to this voice in my head, I stayed more than 10 years in an unhappy marriage. I eventually left, now getting into a new relationship. Now getting into a new relationship is an issue again, because what if indeed I'm too impatient to be with a man? That's a message there from Anonymous. So yeah, Nkateko, as you can hear, there are a number of people who clearly started doing things and being overachievers, and part of the reason was to just show and prove those who had doubts that you are wrong. But equally so, you've got people who are now even scared to get into new marriages or relationships because they were constantly told it's never going to last because you're just simply impatient. Yeah, any last words from you, some advice from our listeners who are still affected by these words that are tormenting them from when they were still young?
I mean, in us saying this, Clement, it's not to pretend that problems do not exist. For example, with the other caller who was saying their mother say you sit around. So rather than the hostility that they were getting is to then correct the behavior without withholding the affection. And it's really a demonstration again that for us, having trusted adults, it's definitely an emotional buffer. It helps us with what we meet outside. It creates a different narrative. And also I like the caller who said, I have bully-proofed my children, and it's just to affirm and that constant affirmation. And I think the caller has given us an important insight in terms of the world in which we grow up in. It's not a perfect world, but they need a safe voice, and they need a voice that will constantly make them see life with different lenses, and also seeing yourself. So with the last message where she was saying that her father used to say that she's impatient, she will never marry, it's to say that they are not what their father is, to challenge their identity. Oftentimes when I have clients in therapy and their parents' voices are louder, I then make an invitation to them in the next session to say, when you come in, can you please leave the parent's voice outside the door, and then you will pick it up after we are done in the session. And that is one powerful tool to help them to say, your parents are not here or your caregivers are not here in the session, so you are welcome to say what is on your mind and what is on your heart, and then we progress from there.
Yeah, Nkateko, thank you so much. Nkateko Ndala Makoro, counseling psychologist. Thanks for making time for us.
Applying to ASE is straightforward. For full-time studies, you will need a matric certificate with the appropriate endorsement for a higher certificate, diploma, or bachelor's qualification. If English is your home language, a minimum of 40% is required. If English is your second language, a minimum of 50% is required. And if full-time study is not your thing, our short courses are open to anyone. No prerequisite required. Get in touch with us on ase.co.za or send us an email on info@ase.co.za.
Thungela celebrates 5 years of listing on the Johannesburg and London stock exchanges. For 5 years, Thungela has built a trusted high-quality thermal coal business, investing in its operations, its people and communities neighboring its operations. Thungela has returned 13.8 billion rand to shareholders, strengthened its balance sheet and expanded globally. They are proud to be a top employer for 5 consecutive years and 3 years fatality-free, responsibility and responsibly creating value together for a shared future.
Outsurance can't improve your Braai skills, but they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Coming up on the Midday Report.
Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning, Clement.
What's popping vandag?
We'll obviously get reaction to the President's address last night. We'll get some analysis on it. We're also going to speak to the Deputy Minister of Labour on legislation to tighten employment of foreign nationals, proposed legislation that's out for public comment at the moment. We'll also speak to our reporter that's in KwaThema, where we see that protest currently underway. Rise Mzansi's been briefing the media on Phala Phala and other issues as well. And then lots of sport this weekend. Did you watch the Grand Prix?
Yeah, loved it. It was so cool. I'm also glad to see Lewis trying to push to win. I mean, he nearly did.
Yeah, he nearly did.
It gives us a bit of confidence.
A bit of drama, considering how boring the races have been.
Yeah, but also thanks to Kim Kardashian, who rocked up and provided some confidence and encouragement to Lewis. That's what's coming up on the Midday Report with Mendy Uina. I'm back with you tomorrow between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Let's begin with news just in. Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge has filed an application to review the Judicial Service Commission's gross misconduct finding against him. Mbenenge also wants to interdict Parliament from starting impeachment proceedings against him. In April, the JSC found Mbenenge guilty in a matter which relates